the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so calm and
Good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome once again to the All Pro Broadcasting Network. We're here live for the Domino's TYJ Premier Xfinity Series at Charlotte. Tonight is the Cross Continent 250. I'm Gabriel Wood, alongside me, Robert McFarland, as always, and Michael D'Amico down in the production trailer getting the picture you see to you tonight. It's going to be 167 laps, a crown jewel event for tonight's drivers, and we're getting ready to get qualifying underway. Mark Jackson, he was first in practice in that number 3 over-the-top gaming. Number 3 machine, that Camaro on track now. The Gravedigger coming out of turn number 2 on lap number, looks like he's actually on his warm-up lap. So we're going to get qualifying underway here in just a few seconds. But Robert, it's going to be one heck of an event. Seems like a little bit loose of a setup, but it's going to be fast.
Yes, sir, Gabe. We've had plenty of practice opportunity for these drivers. I jumped in their final practice, and these Ford Mustangs, Chevy Camaros, and Toyota Camrys are definitely going to be loose after 2 or 3 laps. It's going to require a lot of finesse from these drivers, but I have a lot of confidence in them.
All right, Mark Jackson going down the back straightaway into turn number 3 here on lap number 1. What kind of time can he do? 184, almost full throttle coming out of turn number 4, 184.56 to the line. 28.842 on lap number 1. So the track's lost a little bit of speed here. It looks like he may be warming up for lap number 2. Jeffrey Ford, going to talk to him in just a few minutes on the pole. And now he gets knocked off by Jeff T. Martin. And now Ray Richer in that number 44 machine. Follow along with him. Ray Richer in that Domino's Camaro, that number 44 machine, coming off of turn number 2 here on lap number 2. And he's going to get knocked off first by Judd Danielson, then Bonwell, then Mark Jackson. Jackson coming in with a 28.160. Going off of turn number 4, what can Ray Richer do on lap number 2? Goes to a 28.299, so about 1/10 off for Ray Richer.
Yes, sir, Gabe. I think before we talk to Jeffrey Ford with a special announcement, we want to go over our standings real quick. I think we have those standings to show to all of our fans. By the way, fans, welcome to Domino's TYJ Racing. This is the Premier Xfinity Series. Of course, Gabriel Wood and myself will be taking you along for the whole race tonight, all 167 laps. Our standings thus far in our Premier Xfinity Series look like this. We have Dustin Lee in the number 1 position in points. In second, we have Ray Richer. In third, we have Judd Danielson. Those 3 drivers, as well as Gary Sexton in fourth, and Jeremy Cramlin fifth, have put together a string of consistent finishes. That's why they're your top 5 in points. We have Jack Watts in 6th. Josh Bonwell is the first driver in our standings with a win, but he's back in 7th place. We have Nick Reynolds also has a win. He's in 8th. Good friend Curtis Young has got 2 wins. He's back in 9th. And in 10th, we do have James Somke without a win. Of course, if you win, you are in. And that's how the standings look right now. Hopefully those don't get shaken up too much right now. What do you think about that, Gabe?
A little bit farther back in the points, we have 3 winners inside the top 10. You know, you said Josh Bonwell, Nick Reynolds, and Curtis Young. Then we also have Eric Stanford with a win in that number 24. He's down in 22nd. And Andrew Kessler got a win also as well in that number 98 machine. And then Joe Johnson in that number 83 machine. He's in 29th. So a couple of these guys got to pick up a little bit of points if they want to make that chase. I'm not sure. Is there a rule that you have to be a certain place in points to take advantage of your win?
Yes, sir. We follow iRacing rules and, NASCAR rules and iRacing prompts. I think it's the top 35. And now we want to go to a good friend of mine, Jeffrey Ford, in that 246. He's got a special paint scheme on his car tonight in honor of one of the fallen Border Patrol agents. Jeffrey, tell us all about who we're talking about tonight.
Yeah, back in January 2008, one of my co-workers, Border Patrol agent, he was in the line of duty and he was killed in the line of duty, doing some good work there for the country. And tonight, since Charlotte's one of my better racetracks, I figured I may be out front a little bit, so it'd be nice to just honor him with a race and also with the paint scheme that I have. And the number of my car, the 246, is his star number.
Yes, sir. And what's his name again? I understand he was a 6-year veteran of the Border Patrol agency. We definitely appreciate all the work they've done.
Yeah, that's right. He had 6 years in the Border Patrol, and he was on a special unit that night, and when it happened. But yeah, his star number was 246, and he's on the hood of my car.
And his name again?
Louis Aguilar. Everyone knows him as Louis Aguilar. They're from Yuma, Arizona. That's what station we were at the time.
Hey, we appreciate it, Jeffrey. We always honor, respect, thank all military personnel, past, present, and future. That definitely includes the Border Patrol. That's a very, very serious job, and obviously it's a dangerous job. We're just fortunate to live in this great country where the men and women in the military provide us with the freedoms that we can race and have this fun tonight. Thanks again, Jeffrey, and good luck.
Thank you there, Robert.
All right, Robert. Well, the second part of wearing two hats is an announcer and a official here in the Domino's TYJ Xfinity Series. Now you got to go down and give the drivers a little bit of a spiel before they take off on the green flag here tonight. So I'm going to take care of your Domino's TYJ starting grid. Mark Jackson in that number 1 spot in the number 3 with a 28.160, that over-the-top gaming Camaro in that pole position. Josh Bonwell on the outside. That parents against distracted driving Ford Mustang will start on the outside lane. Kyle Charpentier in that Apex Racing UK 003. We've seen that number a lot up front, and hopefully we see it in victory lane here tonight. Kyle Kamer in 4th. Gary Sexton in that 5th position. William Davis, a winner this year, in that 6th spot. Dustin Lee in the 32. We saw him have a good run in Richmond. Ended up coming away with a pretty much disappointing finish. Had pretty much the fastest car all night, but ended up all for naught. So hopefully he can get a little bit of a better finish tonight. Judd Danielson in that 85 qualifies inside the top 10 in 8th. Shane Parrish in the 81, that Serve Pro number 81 in that Toyota, will start in the 9th spot. Jeffrey Ford, just talked to him, that 246. A little bit of a tribute paint scheme in that number 10 spot. Wesley Whitfield, Gerald Campbell, Andrew Kessler, Jack Watts, and Curtis Young round out your top 15. Nick Reynolds in 16th, Craig Lerman in 17th, Ramon Vasquez in that 18th spot. Jeff T. Martin, Ray Richer, and William E. Moore in 21st. Russ Coe in that 420. Eric Stanford, a winner this year as well. Ellery Queen in 24th. Gerald Heffley, Chad Payne, Giovanni Bramante, a name you might remember from the Cart Life, TV show on True TV. So we're getting a race with a little bit of celebrity tonight. But Mark McFadden in 28th. Cody Griffin, Tim Cox, Donald Stewart, John Paul Arsenault in that 32 spot. Ivan Garcia, James Somke, Gerald Campbell, and Sean Kalis will round out your field in 36th. All 36 drivers get to roll away. Robert, final thought before we go green.
I'll tell you what, the great news, Gabe, I'm in the booth with Gabriel Wood. The other great news, we're racing at Charlotte Motor Speedway, right down the road here in Concord, North Carolina. These are the Xfinity cars, and we've got a full field, basically, of very talented drivers. All these guys are hungry. We've got a great broadcaster in All Pro Broadcasting with Michael D'Amico with some incredible camera views tonight. So I'll tell you what, I'm ready, I'm stoked, and fans, I'm going to give you details on how you can win a free large Domino's pizza here in just a few minutes once we get started.
All right, as the drivers work down the back straightaway into turns 3 and 4, Mark Jackson going to be behind the pace car for the one and only pace lap as we get ready to go green. That number 3 machine going to lead it off to the green flag here coming out of turn number 4. Pace car lights are out, so it's going to come to pit road this time by. Pace car makes that hard left-hand turn on the pit road. Mark Jackson has the field in his hand. Green flag in the air, we're underway here in Charlotte. Lap number 1 of 167 underway. And Mark Jackson with a great restart going into turn number 1. Kyle Sharpens here to the inside of Josh Bonwell. Going to be a good fight for second as they go into turns 1 and 2. He's clear by the time he exits the corner. A little bit of a fight going on. Looks like Dustin Lee in that 32 machine fighting side by side with, I believe, is that Judd Danielson in that 85, and he clears him by the time he gets into turn number 3. Going off of turn number 4, Mark Jackson leads lap number 1. It's going to be lap number 1 to that 3 machine, and Kyle Charpentier is closing in bit by bit. He had to work his way beside Josh Bonwell, so now he's trying to make up that position that he lost.
Yes, sir, Gabe. It looks like for the top 10, 15 cars, they are single file now. We do have the one car that was penalized coming off pit road. That's the 78 of Donald Stewart. He is serving a penalty from the last Xfinity race. But these guys are keeping it clean, and they're trying to make the moves as smartly as they can. And again, fans, you are watching the Cross Continent 250. If we forgot to mention that, and like I said, I'll give you details on the free pizza in just a minute.
These guys try and work their way around Donald Stewart in that 78, that Haviland Chevy Camaro on the inside. It's like Gary Sexton side by side with him, maybe getting on the horn telling him to let him go, because he's trying to work that outside lane, and he's holding up William Davis, and he's losing a lot of time, and he's actually going to get passed by William Davis in that 011.
Yes, so those are two team cars. They are both cross continents. Looks like the 11 of Will Davis and the 17 of Gary Sexton. That's 2 of 4 drivers tonight that have a very special paint scheme on their car. They got the flag from their home states. We got one of them's from Colorado Springs, Colorado. One's from Charlotte, North Carolina. Another one's from Augusta, Georgia. Another one is from Dallas, Texas. You'll notice the similar paint schemes with a different flag on the hood of each one of those. And those two right there are the 11 and the 17.
We go back to the field. Looks like the first race I'm seeing now looks like Andrew Kessler going after Gerald Campbell as they go into turn number 1, that Monster Energy Ford Mustang. That's the paint scheme I see. He's under attack from Nick Reynolds, but also attacking the 35 of Gerald Campbell. They'll side by side down the back straightaway. That Southeast Motorsports number 10 working that outside lane, trying to work it in on that top side. Can he get it done coming off of turn number 4? It looks like he will, but he's going to get held up by that 35 on exit.
Yes, sir. We got some tight battling all over the track here. Looks like Judd Danielson was just getting some pressure by the 32 of Dustin Lee. Dustin Lee is able to clear the 85 of Judd Danielson. Behind him, looks like we got another battle. We've got Curtis Young in that 94. As he gets around, it looks like the 81 of Shane Parrish. That is another cross-continent racing vehicle. And he's got a mirror full of Wesley Whitfield in the 71. This is back for 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th.
Back up front, looks like we got a battle for the lead brewing, because Charpentier, he's to the back bumper, down the back straightaway. Will he try and make the move? He will, going into turn number 3. Mark Jackson gives him the low side. He runs way high in turn number 3. Down to the bottom goes Charpentier, and clear for the lead here on lap number 7.
Yes, that is Kyle Charpentier in the Apex Academy 003 Toyota Camry. He's one of our fast drivers. He's definitely got the lead now, and he's definitely looking to get a win in the series as he gets clear of Mark Jackson. And now Mark Jackson's getting some pressure right now. It looks from Josh Bonwell in that 51. He's in that pad. People against distracted driving Ford Mustang. Beautiful color car there tonight.
To the inside goes Bonwell. Now he's clear for second. Goes to the inside. Now he's going to work his way to the back bumper of Charpentier if he can. Mark Jackson still running that high lane. A little bit odd seeing him run up there, but they work out for him because here comes that momentum on the outside lane. Is he going to make that move to the bottom? No, he's going to stay to the back bumper. Here comes Kyle Kamer, though. So we got a three-way battle for that second spot. It's still brewing, and Charpentier, he's not out of the fray yet.
Yes, sir, and Kyle Kamer in that number 51, it looks like he's in that Box Crush Ford Mustang. It's a beautiful paint job. I haven't seen that before. We'll have to get some information on him. No borders, no boundaries, no boxes.
Looks like that battle settles down. Get a look around. Looks like Curtis Young on pit road. Pitted from 9th and retires from tonight's race.
Yes, I'm pulling up that replay. We're staying green, so I'm gonna look and see exactly what happened here. Looks like he was having some heat from the 32 of Dustin Lee. I'm still not able to find that in the replay right now. Go ahead, Gabe.
98 of Andrew Kessler got loose coming off of turn number 2, I believe. And Giovanni Bramante in that number 89 machine gets to the inside of him and goes for that spot. Look at the moves. The 27th starter, Giovanni Bramante, now in the 11th. So that driver working well on that inside lane. He's the biggest mover so far tonight. Now up to 11th. Now past Dustin Lee for the top 10 spot. Caution is out. Caution on the speedway. Going to find the cause for that. Looks like the 28 of Gerald Heffley down on the bottom side of the racetrack. Going to get that replay up for you. The 28 of Gerald Heffley up that Haviland Camaro, one of 2 Texaco Haviland Camaros. So he went in turn number 1, got loose. And the number 48 just plowed into the back of him, had nowhere to go. Looks like this is the 48 of Cody Griffin. got caught up in that, and that sent him sideways. And then Chad Payne had to check up, ended up getting in the back of Cody Griffin.
Yes, sir. I'm going to take a couple of minutes here to do some admin's duty, Gabe. If you want to go over pit stops, if we have them, I'll be back in just a couple.
All right, as these drivers get ready, they're going to come down the pit road. Everybody comes in. At least your top 5, top 6, top 7. Charpentier is going to be the first to come down to pit road. Going to be the first to come to the attention of his box. It's going to be Charpentier, Bonwell, and Kyle Kamer. So Kamer got past Mark Jackson for that third spot. Kamer's going to hit his box, as well as Charpentier, 56, and the 3. It looks like Bonwell actually got a really good entry to pit road. Right sides go up. See if anybody's going to be bold enough to take 2 tires. Looks like Kyle Kamer is. So Kamer in the 51 gets to the lead. That's going to be an interesting strategy. Race off pit road for the rest of these guys. Charpentier wins it, and the 56 of Bonwell comes out in third.
Yes, sir. So we had some advancers on those pit stops there, Gabe. I was just looking at that replay. It definitely looks like the 28 of Gerald Heffley got loose. We're going to see that quite often tonight. Unfortunately, he did collect the 48 of Cody Griffin. Unfortunate for both of those drivers. And one other thing I want to bring to the attention of our fans, again, thank you for being here. Every Wednesday, Thursday, and soon, starting this Sunday, every Sunday night, we give away a large, free, 3-topping Domino's Pizza, carry-out only, to the first fan who accurately predicts the winner of this race before halfway. Gabe, you'll have to help me with my math. Halfway of 167 is going to be about 83.5, 84 laps, somewhere along those lines.
Hold on, let me break out the internet calculator. I got to do some math.
Yes, sir, I have trouble doing that myself. Around lap 84, 83, 84. It looks like when you have to have your pick in. Again, anywhere in the United States of America, Gabe, we have given away about 22 of these pizzas. So fan, get your picks in, 919-883-7497. If you are in, if you're
84. It's 83 and a half, so.
Yes, sir. If you are watching the race on your device, you can also name that winner in the text, and I'll get that as well before halfway. Thank you.
Right as we ride here under caution, updated Dustin Lee went through pit road, so he will be your leader for the restart as we come to the green here in the next few laps. Updated running order: Dustin Lee, Kyle Kamer, Kyle Charpentier, Josh Bonwell, Mark Jackson, your top 5. And looks like Dustin Lee actually going to make his way to pit road, so all he wanted was to get that lap led, and he pulls it into the pits. So that'll shake it up just a little bit. So now Kyle Kamer, your leader, Charpentier in second, Bonwell in third, Mark Jackson, Gary Sexton, your top 5. Judd Danielson, Wesley Whitfield, Shane Parrish, Nick Reynolds, and Giovanni Bramante up from 27th. Now is in the top 10.
Yes, another exciting thing we do here at Domino's TYJ Racing and All Pro Broadcasting. We got a segment for you fans we know you're going to love if you're new to watching this. It's called Crank It Up. We do that on the restarts here, Gabe, and I'll let you take that as soon as it comes up.
Are you saying you want to crank it up, Robert? I think you're hinting at it.
I think it would be a great idea.
All right, well, it's going to be the perfect opportunity to do so. Lap number 16 coming to 17. The 51 of Kyle Kamer is going to lead him to the green flag. That's going to be one thing to look out for. He was the only person up front to take 2 tires. So that number 51 machine, he's going to have to deal with a, a snarling and aggressive pack that are all on 4 brand new tires. Coming off of turn number 4, they're going to double them up. And that pace car is going to make that hard left-hand turn to pit road. Tell you what, Robert, the lights are on and the moon is out. And these drivers are here on the home of Southern Speed, Charlotte Motor Speedway. You know what? It's one hot night, and let's do an all-pro broadcasting Domino's TYJ. Crank it up. Coming out of turn number 4 to the start-finish line, that 51 of Kyle Kamer is your leader, holding off on 2 tires from the rest of the field. Looks like a little bit of aggressive racing. The 3 of Mark Jackson shoves it to the inside to Josh Bonwell. They're side by side for second. Here comes that pack. Oh, they're 2 by 2 for the lead. Top 2 positions. Here comes Mark Jackson to the back bumper. A little bit aggressive entry on that 3 machine. Top 3 down on the bottom, and Josh Bonwell on the top.
Yes, sir. You can throw a blanket over these top 4. They are definitely putting on a show here as they're looking to try to make the lead. Try to grab lead, excuse me.
Here comes Mark Jackson. Does not quite have him clear yet. 51 to the bottom. 51 way down the racetrack. And Josh Bonwell still working that outside lane and holding strong. Coming out for turn number 4. Here comes that momentum again from the 56 on the outside. Can he get to the back bumper? It's time by. No, he can't, but he's still side by side with Mark Jackson in that second position. So putting up a good fight. This is the one thing we see from that variable track that iRacing did about last year. You can now run that outside lane and we get it to work. Here they go side by side for the lead. Going into turn number 3, Bonwell to the outside, Kyle Kamer to the inside.
We have Kyle Charpentier in third on the outside, and Mark Jackson backside of it just a little bit. Let these guys try to figure it out.
Here they come, Bonwell to the outside. He's got the lead that time. Buys the 56, put him on the top of the scoring pylon.
It's not over yet. Looks like Kyle Kamer is fighting back on the inside, but the 56 of Josh Bonwell is going to get a push from the 003 of Kyle Charpentier, and that will clearly put the 56 of Josh Bonwell in the lead comfortably now.
It's the Kyle and Kyle show now in that second spot. Charpentier to the outside, Kamer to the inside. Charpentier's got that position by the time they come to the start-finish line. He's now going to try and work that outside lane, use Bonwell's strategy to his own, and try and get that lead from that number 56. He's now clear from second and now clear to run down Bonwell. Bonwell going for a second win of the year. First one came at Kansas Speedway, I do believe, about a month ago. So he's going to now look to get his sophomore win. Jackson, and looks like Bramante spinning sideways in the grass. The 89 down to the bottom side of the racetrack. He saves it in the infield.
Great save by the 89. He's a young newcomer to our series. What a great piece of driving by Giovanni Bramante.
Looks like he got tapped by the 71 on exit. He just got into the left rear quarter panel, so that 89 gets back under speed. He's got some work to do, but he's got a long time to do it. It's a good thing it's a crown jewel race, because he's now got about 140 laps to make it up. Lap number 25 now at 167. It's still some good racing up front. Charpentier to the back bumper. The top 3, 1, 2, 3 under a blanket. And then it's the same deal for 4th, 5th, and 6th. To the back bumper goes Mark Jackson. Gives him a push down the back straightaway.
Don't look now, but the 85 Domino's 2YJ Racing Chevy, Judd Danielson has made his way around with Kyle Kamer to take over. Looks like that 4th position.
What is Judd Danielson doing up front? He doesn't belong there.
Oh, he's got every right. He's put in a lot of practice, I am sure. And we also got some other drivers making some moves. I think this is something we're going to see, Gabe, is the drivers that abuse their tires in the first 10 laps of a run, they're going to start falling back through the field.
Yeah, but the one thing they did, though, was make, everybody think you can now use that outside lane. Josh Bonwell did it. He had to be committed for about 5 laps, but he made it work. He did make it work on a car with 2 tires, but still, and the 2-tire strategy, I'm not sure it could really work out for the 51 because he was running in 4th. He's now back to 5th, and you can tell that car's starting to get tight.
Yes, exactly. I picked that up on the team communication. He did try the 2-tire pit strategy, but if you're going to try it, you might as well try it early in the race so you know what you got for the end of the race.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can see coming out of this. So while this battle up front settles down, you're going to look through the field. Looks like Kamer getting passed now by, was that the 71 of Wesley Whitfield. So Wesley Whitfield in that black number 71 gets to the inside, goes into the 5th spot. Looking back through the field, anybody else racing side by side. Looks like single file back through your top 15. Looks like one battle, Andrew Kessler and Russ Coe in the 420 into turn number 3, that number 98 and 420 machine.
Yes, sir.
Both have
Yes.
Giovanni Bramante and that number 89 working his way back through the field. He's now going to go after Andrew Kessler in that 19th spot.
Yeah, he must have lost 5, 10, maybe 15 positions with that spin through the grass, but he's definitely got the momentum as he's going below Andrew Kiss from that 98. Take over that position. They'll move him up to 19th.
Monte in that 89 machine working his way back to the field. Going to look and see if there's any other battles. Looks like there's a couple of cars sitting just an equal distance apart from each other. Looks like that is the 77 of Craig Verman, James Sobke, Eric Stanford. And it looks like Ramon Vasquez is actually going after Tim Cox. And Tim Cox slides up the racetrack. Oh, Tim Cox around down the back straightaway. 19 spins sideways on the apron. Caution stays out. We're still under the green flag. He's on the apron, able to get out of the way. This is the point where the tires start getting a little bit loose.
Yes, exactly. After about the 10, 15 laps, that is what happens here. And he definitely got loose, as looks like 32 of Justin Lee gets loose. He's going through the grass.
Robert, we missed something because the 56 of Josh Barwell, he's now down in 6th or 7th, excuse me. So he had to get loose. I'm going to look and see here. Looks like he was way out in front. 2 laps ago, I'm looking at the replay. He got loose going into turn number 1. That tunnel on the bump, and Judd Danielson got loose as well.
Curtis Young getting loose, spins on the front stretch.
Caution is out. Looks like a wreck on the front straightaway. Ramon Vasquez sideways. Everybody sideways. Who was that? Curtis Young in that number 34th spot. He was just trying to race and make up a few positions and got loose coming off of turn number 4.
That's about the 4th car I've seen in the last 2 laps. Gabe, who's gotten loose coming off the corner. And at this point, we're going to take our first real quick commercial break. You are watching the Cross Continent 250. Cross Continent Racing, a group of clean, competitive racers from across the continent. We've got it from Colorado Springs, Colorado, Charlotte, Augusta, Georgia, and Dallas, Texas. Fans will be right back.
When you're ready,
ServPro, how can we help?
help gets there faster. The cleanup specialists at 1-800-SERVPRO and ServPro.com. Helping make fire and water damage like it never even happened.
Did your little storm knock out the power? Well, excuse me for not noticing.
Hate to disappoint you, Old Man Winter. Better luck next time.
If the power goes out, your Generac standby generator goes on, automatically.
Down trees? Flash floods? Is that all you've got?
Stand up to the threat of outages with Generac, and never feel powerless.
Welcome back, race fans, to the Cross Continent 250 live on All Pro Broadcasting from Charlotte Motor Speedway. You're watching the Domino's TYJ Racing Premier Xfinity Series for our crown jewel race here at Charlotte, the Cross Continent 250. We just had a caution. We're getting ready for our restart, and it looks like Kyle Charpentier in that 003 will be bringing them down to green. Looks like on his outside we're going to have the 3 of Mark Jackson, who had the pole position. Up to 3rd, starting in 8th was Judd Danielson. In 4th we have Josh Bonwell as they come down the backstretch here. 5th position we have got Gary Sexton in the 17. That's exactly where he started. 6th position all the way up from 16th is Nick Reynolds. Kyle Kammer is in 7th. He started off in 4th. Shane Parrish is in 8th. He's gained 1 spot. Jeff T. Martin will be starting in 9th, and rounding out your top 10 will be James Sonke. He has moved all the way from the 34th starting position for this restart.
I tell you what, Robert, it's going to be a great restart here. You got Charpentier on the inside, Mark Jackson on the outside, Judd Danielson in that 3rd spot. Josh Bonwell now in 4th, from the lead just a few laps ago. Charpentier fielding is in his hands. Coming off of turn number 4, a little bit of a checkup. Looks like the 81 of Shane Parrish got some front end damage from Nick Reynolds as they checked up on the top side. Everybody gets away clean, and now Charpentier in the lead, and Judd Danielson now in that 2nd spot.
Yes, that was a great restart by Charpentier and Judd Danielson. And don't look now as Mark Jackson is breathing down the neck of the 85 machine of Judd Danielson. And don't look also, we got Gary Sexton in the 17 making some big moves, as well as Nick Reynolds. And Josh Bonwell is back here, looks like in about 5th, 6th position. He is still not out of the gate.
Nick Reynolds just made a move for the top 5 spot. Looks like we're side by side. Andrew Kessler fighting side by side with somebody. It's Giovanni Bermonte in the 89 working his way back through the field. Looks like I think he restarted in 13th, so now Andrew Kessler trying to work that outside lane around the 89. And it looks like it's almost kind of working because he's having to deal with his cars on the inside. Here comes that momentum on the outside. Is he going to try the crossover on the front straightaway? No, momentum runs out. He has to back out of it. And now he's got Craig Lerman in front of him in the 77, followed by Eric Stanford in that 24, a winner this year already. Up in front of them, looks like Jeff T. Martin running that outside lane. Shane Parrish going to try and get around him in that Serve Pro number 81.
Yes, we got side by side is Josh Bonwell in the 56. He's making a move around Nick Reynolds in the 10. Josh has got ahead of steam. He's moving to the outside. Looks like he's going to try to make a move, get 2 at one time. He's going to get to the high side of Gary Sexton. He doesn't quite have the momentum. Is he going to try to get on the high side going into turn 1 and 2?
Looks like we had somebody back there. Looks like Eric Stanford got into the wall, just a little bit, lost some momentum, but we're following this battle. Nick Reynolds to the outside, Kyle Cameron to the inside in the 51 as they go into turn number 3. And don't look now, here comes James Somke, that number 1 Bass Pro Shops machine. Closing in on these 2 drivers. Looks like back up front, looks like 85 is Judd Danielson and the 3 of Mark Jackson. They are battling bumper to bumper up front. Jackson got to his back bumper, now he's lost a little bit of time, but here comes Judd Danielson. Who would have thought that driver had that much speed? He practiced in 14th, qualified in 8th. Now up into that 2nd spot, 1/10 of a second behind your leader.
I tell you what, some of these drivers, they have a favorite track, and this might be Judd Danielson's favorite track. I know he's had some bad luck in the past, but he's definitely, so far in the early going, Gabe, he has proven his bad luck wrong.
Still single file in your top 5. Gonna look through the field just a little bit to see if we can find some battles on the racetrack. But they're all pretty much single file here. We had one side-by-side battle, Sean Kalis and Jack Watts in the number 66. A little bit of contact between those two. But now we got a battle between Gerald Heffley and Tim Cox as Cox works his way back through the field.
Yes, just a minute ago you mentioned the 24 machine of Eric Stanford. He got into the wall. He's running right now, looks like in 14th position, so it's definitely slowed him down a little bit. But we're going to do a real quick Domino's driver profile on the 24 of Eric Stanford. He is from Glenfield, New York. His race team and sponsors are ES Billiards and ES Motorsports. Also Pepsi. Tonight he is running that ES Billiards paint scheme in that Ford Mustang GT. He's having a great run. A little bit of damage on the right side, but he's hoping to get back up front.
It's Eric Stanford in the 24, but up front, Mark Jackson, he's gotten around Judd Danielson now for that second spot. As they come out of turn number 4, Jackson going after the lead now. Kyle Sharpton's here, the 3 and the 003 working their way out through the tri-oval to turn number 1 through that dog leg on the front straightaway. Jackson going to look to get that lead this time by, maybe if he can get the momentum going.
Yes, it looks like they're single file all the way back to the 10th position. These drivers are just trying to find the momentum, and they're on the edge. We've had about 8, 9, 10 laps now since the restart with these brand new tires. And hopefully these guys will remember that these Xfinity cars with this weather condition will get loose coming off the corner.
All right, well, we got just a second, Robert. I want to mention one more time that free pizza giveaway. Oh, his caution comes out. Hold that thought, Robert. We got to look for the caution. Front straightaway looks like maybe Sean Kalis. Maybe. So I'm looking through here. Looks like, no, it's the 19. 19 of Tim Cox on the outside, and Sean Kalis in that 45 machine. Looks like he got loose on the outside lane coming off the wall and ended up collecting Tim Cox in that number 19. That's the guy who got set sideways and triggered the caution.
That's exactly what it looks like to me, Gabe.
See what, we're going to ride here under caution. Now the drivers are going to catch up behind the pace car. Robert, I want to talk about something real quick while we got a second. The racing world was shocked. We've got Dale Earnhardt Jr. retiring. How do you feel about that?
I tell you what, that is some interesting news. The bad news, he's retiring. The good news is he's racing the rest of this season, from what I understand. Is that correct?
Yes, he is. He's going to finish out the 2017 season. But, Robert, I want to talk about one thing that nobody's considered. I just saw on a forum just a few minutes ago, you know, everybody's either said Alex Bowman, William Byron. Alex Bowman, William Byron. Who's going to take up that wide ride? I've seen, you know, Kyle Larson thrown into that hat and throwing his hat into the ring. But when Brad Keselowski left Hendrick Motorsports in, I believe, 2008, 2009, I can't remember, Rick Hendrick was quoted as saying, "I'm not going to let him go too far." Well, Keselowski's contract goes up this year, and there's just going to be a open ride next year.
You gotta be pizza and me. I tell you what, I did not hear that one yet, and I think you're absolutely right. I do remember the exact same story you were talking about, so that's going to be very interesting. I tell you what, a lot of times in NASCAR, things will happen that will shock you. A lot of times in Domino's TYJ Racing, things will happen that will shock you. But I'm not sure who's going to be in that car.
That made absolute sense. You know, just that scenario. But I do not think, I mean, it makes sense that that would happen, but I really don't think Keselowski would leave an organization like Penske anytime soon. The amount of success he's been having. But back to the racing. Sharpton's here in the lead, or at least he was. Looks like Mark McFadden in that 67 Miller High Life Ford Fusion, or Ford Mustang, I should say, stays out. So he will inherit the lead. I think he's just going to go after that one lap lead. But now that we got a chance, Robert, you want to mention that free pizza giveaway?
Yes, sir. Any fan, whether you're watching this race on your television, you're watching it on your small device, you can win a free large 3-topping Domino's pizza from any store in the United States of America, carry out only, by doing 2 simple things. You pick a driver you think is going to win by halfway of this race, which is lap, what do we say, 84? You text that driver's name to 919-883-7497. The first fan to accurately predict the winner of this race will win that free large 3-topping Domino's pizza. Gabe, we've given away, like I said, 22 of them. We had another winner last night in the truck race. So fans, make sure you get your picks in, and hopefully you'll be the lucky winner tonight. I was just looking the 45 X-Side Ford Mustang GT of Sean Kalis. He was just involved in that most recent caution. Looks like he got loose coming off the corner. Unfortunately collected, I think it was the 19.
Yes, it was the 19 of Tim Cox. Looks like the number 4, I'm looking through the standings right now at the back of the field. Looks like the 4 of John Paul Arsenal did not make the start. So that 4 machine is your only driver not to take the green flag. So we have 35 drivers on the scoring pylon.
Yeah, we got quite a few drivers already with a little bit of damage on their vehicles. We've also got some drivers that have got some perfectly clean vehicles. It looks like we might have a shakeup here for the lead. It looks like we might have the 67, unless he's waiting for the wave around. A little bit behind.
No, he's in the lead.
Looks like he is in the lead here.
I would have thought he would just, pull it in after one lap to get the lap led, but no, Mark McFadden going for the lead here. So we're going to have a new leader this time by. We're going to have to deal with the 67 on that inside lane. Mark Jackson in second, Charpentier in third, Kyle Kamer in that fourth spot, Josh Bonwell in that fifth position.
Yes, sir, this is definitely going to mix it up for the restart here, Gabe. And Mark McFadden has got some laps on his tires. Hopefully he gets them cleaned off so he gets a good restart. But once the restart does occur, I am looking to see the usuals back up front. Mark Jackson, Kyle Charpentier, Kyle Kamer, Josh Bonwell, Gary Sexton, and Judd Danielson. Must have had a couple issues on pit road there. He came out and he's going to be restarting in seventh.
They're going to come for the restart. Coming out of turn number 4, pace car down to the safety of pit road. Mark McFadden, field in his hands, coming out of turn number 4. He goes on the green flag. They're going to race side by side into turn number 1. Look for those old tires, see how they react. He's going to block that outside lane. Now goes to the inside. So he's going to protect at least that lead through turns 1 and 2. But Charpentier, he's hungry on the bottom. Top 2. Those second place drivers, they're side by side. Oh, a little bit, almost some contact between them. Here comes Mark Jackson on the outside. Turn number 3. Oh, they're side by side. Looks like Gary Sexton gets in, almost in the wall with Nick Reynolds. But they're side by side for that lead. They're racing all over the racetrack. Mark Jackson now into the lead on lap number 52.
Yes, but the 67, I tell you what, Mark McFadden is definitely holding tough here the first lap of this restart. The second lap, he is still in second position, but as usual with those tires, he is definitely getting some heat on the outside by the 003 of Kyle Charpentier.
How long have we been doing this series, Robert? You still can't get it right.
Yeah, I'm still working on it.
It's okay. At least you're not Ray Richer, who refuses to pronounce a driver in the Cup Series name.
That's okay.
Here they come at a turn number 2. Mark Jackson still with the lead, and they're racing almost 3 wide. Charpentier now has that second spot. The 51 of Kyle Kamer. Oh, and the 10 gets into the wall. 56 and the 10 of Nick Reynolds get side by side. Oh, the 56 pushed up the racetrack and got the 10 of Nick Reynolds into the wall coming in turn number 3. And that is a shame for the 10, that's Southeast Motorsports number 10 of Nick Reynolds.
Yes, he's definitely lost his momentum as he's dropping back through the field. He is still maintaining, but he's going to probably have to bring that machine down pit road to get some work done on it if he wants to be able to maintain a pace to be competitive at all as far as staying on the lead lap.
67 still in that 4th spot, so it's still an improvement from where he was running. I believe he was running outside the top 20, so still got it going. The 81 of Shane Parrish in that bottom lane. Can he get the inside push? He can. And he's going to get it to the inside. That opens up that bottom as well for Josh Bonwell. So expect that 67 to get freight train for a little while, because that inside lane right now on new tires is completely dominant. You got Josh Bonwell, Judd Danielson, and Giovanni Bramante in that number 89 Toyota at the tail end of that pack in 8th. And it's back a little bit to, James Somke in that number 1 machine. Then Gary Sexton rounds out your top 10. Up front, Mark Jackson pulling away from Kyle Charpentier. The top 2, 4/10 separate them. And Kyle Kamer just a little bit behind them. And then Shane Parrish and it's like side by side with Josh Bonwell and Mark McFadden. And now that's going to open the door for Judd Danielson on the inside lane.
Yes, Mark McFadden held tough there in the 67 Miller High Life for a while, but now he is falling back, it looks like, to the 8th, 9th position. And before long, he's going to be dropping out of the top 10 with those tires. But that was a pretty smart move to lead some laps, and he is proven to be a pretty competitive racer tonight here at Charlotte.
Yeah, he's showing what that 67 can do, and it pays off for him because caution is out.
Yeah, it sounds like it's the number 9 of Chad Payne. We're going to pull up that replay real quick here.
Gonna look for that wreck here. Yeah, it looks like Chad Payne. I've heard the name Ellery Queen from our producer, so we're gonna look around to see what happened.
I think that was a couple of laps earlier between Ellery Queen and the 48. On this one, looks like Chad just got loose. Excuse me.
Yeah, that's right where that tunnel is. There's a little bit of noticeable bump in turn number 1. Maybe we get a replay of that on board, but as soon as that car gets unsettled, it jumps sideways. Number 9 machine set sideways, but he's still actually a very good piece of driving from everybody behind him, because drivers like Dustin Lee, I believe, and Tim Cox ended up working their way around him. So just a single car incident, no damage on that 9 machine.
Yeah. That is definitely fortunate that nobody else was involved in that one. And I'm looking a little bit further back. If you cover pit stops here, I'm looking to see what happened between the 48 of Cody Griffin and the 62 of Ellery Queen here in just a minute.
All right, as the drivers come down to pit road. But yeah, that strategy of staying out worked out for the 67 of, Mark McFadden in that number 67 machine as they come off of pit road. Looks like your leader coming out of the pits is going to be Mark Jackson, followed by the 81 of Shane Parrish, and then Kyle Kamer in the 51 machine. So Charpentier, a slow pit stop for that 003.
I do want to.
I'm going to actually jump down and see if we can grab a driver to talk to here under caution.
Yes, sir, Gabe, and I will remind the fans, make sure you get your picks in here. You do have about 30 laps to get your pick in for the winner tonight of the race. All you have to do is text 919-883-7497. And you may be the one who can win that large 3 Domino's Pizza carry-out only from any store in the United States of America. Like I said last night, we had another winner. That's about our 22nd winner. And it looks like under caution here, these guys came down and got some fresh rubber, two cans of Sunoco racing fuel. And we definitely have got a really, really cool new logo for our free pizza giveaway. We appreciate Michael D'Amico for putting that together. Looking at that makes me hungry as we speak. And I had Domino's Pizza last night and today for lunch. I had leftovers. I'm not too proud to say that. It looks like our running order is going to be mixed up a little bit as Gabe has got someone, I think.
Mark Jackson, number 3, you got a copy.
Hey, Gabe, yeah, go ahead.
All right, that number 3 Over the Top Gaming, it was in the lead, or at least we thought, but Ivan Garcia stays out. You had to work your way around the 67 of Mark McFadden last time. You think you can do it again?
Yeah, it's track's a little treacherous. Car's a little slippery tonight, so yeah, I think we can get him if he stayed out on old tires. It seems pretty wise choice at this juncture in the race to take some tires. I understand it though, guys want to stay out, lead a lap, get a point, and all that. So we're just trying to take care of our car at this point. The like I said, it's really loose after about 10 or 15 laps. The track's a little bit rubbered up, and we got a small spoiler, so just to see kind of how this plays out.
All right, Mark, as they go into turn number 1, lights are out atop the pace car. One more question. As the driver's racing around you, you got Charpentier, you got Parrish, you got Kamer. Who gives you the biggest threat, do you think?
Well, you just said it. All of those guys up here, any one of us could bring this race home. I think it's going to come down who doesn't make a mistake and is able to keep control of the car. So we'll see how it goes. And our over-the-top Chevy's fast, and hope we can bring it home for a good finish. We're going to damn sure give her hell.
All right, Mark, have a good restart.
Thank you, sir.
It's Mark Jackson in that number 3. Southeast Motorsports number 3, the over-the-top gaming Chevy Camaro, coming off of turn number 4 for the restart here on lap number 61, getting close to that cutoff for the free pizza giveaway.
Yes, sir, Gabe. Want to do one more time before halfway, another crank it up?
Ivan Garcia with a huge restart. That 23 machine gets out and rockets to a huge lead going into turn number 1. Mark Jackson has to fight it out for that second spot. He gets clear. Kyle Kamer's got to deal with the 81 of Shane Parrish as they come into turn number 2.
They are 2 by 2 behind them. Looks like we have the 003 of Kyle Charpentier. I got it right that time, making a move underneath. Looks like the 51 of Kyle Kamer. And that's going to definitely give the lead to Mark Jackson in the 3 as he gets around the 23 of Ivan Garcia.
All right, Mark Jackson goes to the lead here on lap number 63. They're going to be still side by side between the 51 and the 23. Ivan Garcia on that outside lane does not make those old tires work this time. They worked out well for the 67. Now to the inside goes Giovanni Bramante in that number 89 machine, that Toyota, to the inside for that 6th position.
I'm looking at a battle back here for 9th and 10th. It looks like James Tonkin, that one Bass Pro Shops, just barely gets around the 17 of Gary Sexton. Gary's racing a really smart race tonight. He knows we got 167 laps, so we got over 103 laps left, 102 laps. No need to mess up your car, abuse the fenders yet. Let a fast guy or somebody give you first get around, and you'll definitely have a piece to work with 10:20 to go.
Ivan Garcia continuing his slide back through the pack, so it's not working out for that number 23 driver.
It looks like Mark McFadden, who stayed out the caution before that gate to lead a few laps. The caution came back out. It did actually help him. He is up to the 11th position, looks like, so that did benefit him, that strategy.
And 11th now upped into 10th because he was behind Ivan Garcia last time by, but all these drivers scrambling to get to the inside lane behind Ivan because they all want to get past that number 23. He just does not have the speed to hang out with these guys. It's like the 15 to the inside of him as well, Andrew Kessler, and I believe that's the 73 of Jeremy Crandall there on the outside. Oh, it's going to be close here coming out of turn number 2. Will they make it 3 wide? No, the 73 backs out of it.
And up front, it looks like Shane Parrish is getting all kind of pressure by the 003 of Kyle Sharpenter for that 2nd position. And they're both just following Mark Jackson in that heralded 3 over-the-top paints. Southeast Motorsports Chevy trying to get a run on him. And behind them, we have Kyle Kammer, who looks like he has made a move, or he's staying in front of Josh Bonwell as they come up on some lap traffic.
That is Nick Reynolds in the number 10 machine running that outside lane. Just lets the leaders go and lets them continue racing. So your top 3, Jackson, Parrish, and Charpentier. And a little bit back to the 51 of Kyle Kammer, Bonwell, and Bramante. So your 3-car teams there in the top 6. It's like a little bit of a disparity between your top 6. And then you got Judd Danielson in that 7th spot. So some speed showing up front. It looks like Bonwell is actually going after Kyle Kammer now on the inside lane going into turn number 3.
Yes, we got drivers trying to make passes all over the place. Looks like the 71 of Wesley Whitfield is making a move around the 98 of Andrew Kessler. Again, Andrew's one of those drivers, Gabe, he takes care of his equipment. I don't think I ever have seen him have a mistake he could have avoided. He always is able in the beginning of these races, the first half, to keep his car clean, and he's always a threat near the end.
Kessler, the number 98, shares the same number as his driver in the Cup Series. The crew chief on the number 98 machine for Dave Washington ended up getting the win in Richmond last week in a controversial finish, but they still did get the win. So Andrew trying to back it up here as getting a top 10. So he's getting close to that in 15th.
Yes, real quick, one more Domino's driver profile on Andrew Kessler. He is that 98 Ford. He is from Belchertown, Massachusetts. His race team is Aegis Motorsports, his sponsors. Tonight is Chef Andy's Lobster Rolls, also PowerTech Power Solutions. He's been in sim racing for 5 years. He would like to thank his teammates, Aegis Motorsports and Dave Washington.
Looks like we got a battle. Oh, Judd Danielson gets loose. The 85 losing turn number 1. Can he hang on to it? He can. He's going to use the banking to get that car going straight. And Judd Danielson keeps that car pointed generally in the right direction.
Yes, he's losing quite a few positions, but I tell you what, if you're a smart racer like Judd, you'll be more than happy to give up 10 positions now and keep your car intact. You definitely come back a little bit later with some fresh rubber. Next time we have a caution, you make green flag pit stops, which we might have here coming up. Looks like he has fallen back to 16th. I'm thinking he was in the top 7 or 8 when that happened, Gabe? And we've got side by side in front of him.
Sorry about that, Robert. Mark Jackson. I had to step away for just a second, but Mark Jackson, loose coming off of turn number 4. To the lead goes Shane Parrish. Can Mark Jackson hang on to it in the infield grass? Looks like he can, so caution will stay, or we will stay green, but Mark Jackson loses that lead. sad turn of events for that number 3 machine, but Shane Parrish now to the lead. He's got to deal with Kyle Charpentier. Now caution is out on the speedway. Gonna find the cause of that caution here. And it looks like William E. Moore in that number 58 machine in that 17th spot just got loose. Almost had it saved, but then the 24 of Eric Stanford had nowhere to go.
Yes, things happen fast here, Gabe. When you're running 188, 189 miles an hour down the straightaway, you dive off into these corners, even though they're banked here at Charlotte. With this lower spoiler for 2017 on these Xfinity cars, after a few laps on these tires, the back end just wants to get really loose, fans. If you've driven on the ice or the snow, you know exactly what we're talking about, except you're doing 40 or 30 or 20 miles an hour when that happens on your daily commute in the snow. This is at like 180. It's very, very difficult to maintain.
All right, as we get under the caution here on lap number 74, we're going to step away here on All Pro Broadcasting. We'll be right back with the Cross Continent 250 live from Charlotte Motor Speedway. We'll be right back here on All Pro Broadcasting. This is the Domino's TYJ Premier Xfinity Series.
Can you do a crank it up for 4 laps?
Does your home suffer from paint failure? It's time to paint the exterior of your home if it's suffering from caulking, peeling, blistering or dried wood, fading or bleaching, cracked or stained stucco. Have the Arizona Painting Company make your home look like new again. With our Gold Package, we offer the best and only 10-year paint warranty in Arizona. Our crews are experienced, well-trained, friendly, and best of all, they'll make sure you're 100% satisfied. Choose the best. Choose the Arizona Painting Company. Visit us online or call today and ask about our 10-year Gold Package paint warranty.
Back here live at Charlotte Motor Speedway. The Cross Continent 250. We're live here at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Domino's TYJ Xfinity Series. Jeffrey Ford is your leader in the 246. The 003 of Kyle Charpentier on that outside lane. 81 of Shane Parrish. Driver absent from this is Mark Jackson in that 9th spot. He wrecked coming out of turn number 4 almost before the caution. Ended up saving it actually, but he did lose a lot of positions.
Yes, it looks like it's going to be interesting. We've got one driver, Jeffrey Ford, in the 246, missed his pit road. He's going to be restarting here on old tires.
Robert, I'm sorry if I keep stepping over you. My microphone, it keeps rubbing and it puts down my headphone volume, so I'm sorry about that.
No problem.
But coming off of turn number 4, we're going to do All-Pro Broadcasting Crank It Up here for the Xfinity Series. And for the Cross Continent 250, we are green.
Welcome back, race fans, to the Cross Continent 250 on All Pro Broadcasting, live here from Concord, Charlotte Motor Speedway. Where on the restart here, we've got, looks like Kyle Charpentier in the lead. Shane Parrish is all over him. And for third, we have Gio Bramante, started way back. He's in that 89 Toyota TRD Racing Development Toyota, making some moves here near halfway. Fans, you got about 5 laps. Excuse me, you got about 2 laps to get your picks in for the free pizza. 919-883-7497. Like I say, I picked this driver to win the race, and if you get it in the next 2 laps, and you're the first one to pick that driver, you will win the free large pizza. And these guys are really battling up front here.
Whoa, Robert, who gave you some sugary cereal? Because you're showing some energy I hadn't seen all night. I like it.
I tell you what, these guys are putting on a show. Yes, sir.
Good racing up front. The 56 to the inside of Bramante coming out of turn number 4. That third spot up for grabs between the 56 of Bonwell and the 89 of Gio Bramante. Still looks like they solved it there, but your top 5 remain unchanged from last lap. The 003, the 81 of Shane Parrish, the 89 of Bramante, the 56 of Bonwell, and the 3 of Mark Jackson up from 9th on the restart. So doing a good job here as we close in. It's going to be halfway this time by.
And it looks like Josh Bonwell and Giovanni Bramante are trying to make some headway. But right now it looks like Kyle Charpentier is going to have to fight off the 81 of Shane Parrish to keep that lead. So far, so good. We got the caution out again.
Caution is out on the speedway. Going to look for it here. Looks like I'm seeing a slow Ellery Queen on the inside. Maybe that was him. It looks like I'm hearing Jeff Martin in that number 15 machine, so we're going to have to look for that. Looks like, yeah, him, James Somke, in the number 1 machine.
It looks like the number 1, excuse me, Gabe, he got loose in the corner, and like we said before, with this low spoiler, once the car gets loose, if there's somebody right behind him, they got a brake package on these cars, Gabe, but it's not enough to slow down from 180 miles an hour to 120 just like that. You just can't help it.
My, I noticed the first 2 cars, and unfortunately nowhere to go for drivers like Jeremy Crandall, Andrew Kessler, 24 Eric Stanford. Looks like the 246 actually made it through, but also Ray Richer and Judd Danielson. So a 2-for-1 Domino special in turn number 2.
Yes, sir. That was definitely what you might want to call the big one here at Charlotte. The fans might like that, but unfortunately these drivers are going to be steaming under the helmet, Gabe. We might try to get a quick interview with one of these if you want to go over. If anybody's going to be doing any kind of piss-offs, I'll see who's going to be out of commission for a while. See if we can get up for an interview. Yes, fans, this was definitely one of the big ones. And like I said before, when things go bad, they go bad fast. And so it's going to give the 246. Go ahead, Gabe.
Excuse me for a second, I got to sneeze.
Yes, sir. Looks like we're going to go a quick.
Actually, it went away. All right, we're good. I've caught up with Jeff T. Martin. He ended up getting caught up in that wreck. He was the initial car, that 15, that had contact with James Samke. Jeff, you all right down there?
Yeah. I think he took 2 tires, if I'm not mistaken. It was him and another guy took 2 tires, which at Charlotte here, it's not going to work. You can't take 2 tires. And I guess going into that turn, he got loose, and there was nothing I could do. We were full speed, and I hit him. There wasn't nowhere I could go. And then I felt like 46 hits from behind me. So.
Yeah, it all broke loose behind you there after you two went sideways. But can you get that Southeast Motorsports 15 back on the track?
Nope, it's done.
Unfortunate night for the 15 machine. Well, go ahead and cheer on your Southeast Motorsports teammates, because you still got Mark Jackson coming up through the field.
I'll do it.
All right, and I believe, Robert, you've also got Ray Richer.
I actually got Ray, but I've got Jim Samke first. Jim, what happened there? What caused you to get loose there?
Man, we were moving at a pretty good clip there around the turns there, and I was being a little aggressive, I think, trying to get to the bottom there quicker than I should have, and gassed it a little soon, and with these new setups, it just turned the back end around on me.
Yes, sir. We hate it. We know it's bad for you. Are you out for the night, or are you going to be able to get back out there, James?
Well, my pit crew is working on this car as hard as they can. They're saying it's like 30 minutes worth of damage, so I'll probably be watching the race with the rest of you all.
Yes, sir. Well, thanks for your time, and good luck next week.
All right, thanks. Thanks for the great race, you guys.
All right. Robert, we've also got Ray Richer, our resident broadcaster down here. Ray, you get out of your comfort zone, and you hop in the car, and look what happens.
I can't lie to you guys. This is just disappointing. I mean, not pointing fingers because I really don't know what happened during that wreck. All I know is I heard wreck over in 2. Everybody starts checking up. I had a ton of room before I got there, and everybody was about second groove. I went right down to the wall, and the whole pack just come right down in front of me. I had nowhere to go. It's just 2 nights in a row. It just kind of, it is what it is. It's racing, but I'm in second place in points here, man. I got to get back out there.
How much time do you have left as far as damage?
Looking right now, back in the car, it shows a little over 7 minutes right now, so I'll have a chance to get back out there and run it. But with the smoke it's got, I think it may have a chance of overheating, popping.
All right, Ray, unfortunate end to your night. We're going to have to hop back up to the race because we're getting ready for the restart here. The 67, Mark McFadden to the lead for the second time tonight. Not sure if he did not pit or took 2 tires, but we're going to have to wait and see what happens here on the restart. Ray, thank you for talking with us, and good luck to you the rest of the night.
And Mark gets a great jump in that Mineral High Life 67 Ford Mustang. Great paint scheme. He's got the field behind him now going into turn 1, but they're going to be hungry like a wolf to get around Mark McFadden in that 67. And Kyle Charpentier gets loose. He saves it almost, but no, the big wreck behind him.
Shane Parrish, Josh Bonwell sideways. Charpentier, maybe Gary Sexton, maybe in the 17, but a lot of cars involved in turn number 2.
Yes, I'm seeing one car up in the air. Unfortunately, it's just definitely not going to work.
You can see it, all the cars involved. Looks like that was Shane Parrish in the 81 up and over in turn number 2. Looks like we also got the 420 of Roscoe, Gary Sexton in the 17. But 3 of your contenders taken out at one time. You got the 81, the 003, and the 56 of Bonwell taken out. And looks like Kamer too, because Kyle Kamer got a little bit of damage there in the initial wreck. So 4. This is just blowing this race wide open.
Yes, sir. That's one thing that we've grown to expect. These are hard-charging racers. And, Gabe, if you don't mind, I'm going to take a couple 3 minutes here to do some admin duties. I'll be right back.
All right, Robert. Well, I'm actually talk to some more drivers. Give me just a second as we ride here. It looks like everybody coming to the pits yet again. So Mark McFadden coming down pit road. Look and see if we can talk to one or a few more drivers. See who we can find here. So I'm going to let these guys take care of what they need to do as far as getting their cars to pit road. But looks like we got Mark Jackson, Giovanni Bramante, and Jeffrey Ford staying out on the racetrack, as well as maybe Wesley Whitfield in that number 71 machine. Nope, he's on pit road. So your top three have stayed out. It's going to be an interesting call there. But that does put Mark Jackson back into the lead. You see Nick Reynolds going around the outside lane. He gets the Lucky Dog free pass. He will move back onto, we can see what we got here. He will get one of his 10 laps back. So that number 10 machine working. He just said he got all of his damage fixed. And he's now 9 laps down. So he's got a little bit of work to do, but I mean, if we keep having caution after caution, we may have the chance. Look at these drivers. I'm going to step away for just 1 second. Maybe we can get an interview with a driver. But unfortunately could not get any drivers to talk to us. It may be me. We need to get Robert to kind of convince these guys. They don't like me very much. Coming down the back straightaway here, Mark Jackson in that number 3 machine. Going to get you an updated running order when they come by the start-finish line. Or may have already updated here. Your top 5, at least, I can tell you, are Mark Jackson, Giovanni Bramante, Jeffrey Ford in that 246 Border Patrol machine. In 3rd, Craig Lerman in that number 77 machine. In 4th, Dustin Lee in 5th. Behind him, Donald Stewart, who has overcome a penalty, had to start from pit road at the initial part of the race, went a lap down 3 laps into the event. He's now up into 6th. Mark McFadden in the 67 in that 7th spot. Elliot Queen in 8th. Tim Cox in 9th. So a good recovery from that 19 machine. And Wesley Whitfield in that number 71.
All right, yes, sir. I was able to get some things cleared up there. Looks like it was contact between the 003 and the 51. That would be Kyle Charpentier and Kyle Kammer. Kyle took blame for that incident.
Unfortunate end to a lot of contenders' night, but that has blown this race wide open and has given the opportunity really to Mark Jackson in that number 3 machine. They're going to come to the green flag this time by. Robert, as we come to the green, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking you're absolutely right. This has definitely changed things. We've got a lot of super fast drivers that are now out of the race. Will Mark Jackson be able to take advantage of this situation and get his win tonight? Or will somebody else surprise us? We still got a lot of laps to go here, Gabe.
I've mentioned him a few times tonight. That 89 has looked fast. He's come from 27th, now into that 2nd spot. So can that 89 of Giovanni Bramante get the win? That young driver, I don't believe, he's got to be in his teens. I don't know how young he is, but he's a very young driver. Craig Lerman in that 77 here for the restart. That 3 gets a good restart. Now he's out there all by himself. That 89 as well. And Craig Lerman sets into that 3rd spot. Jeffrey Ford slides back just a little bit. Or excuse me, he actually goes into 3rd. Craig Lerman now into 4th. And Dustin Lee in that 32. Now under attack from Donald Stewart in that number 78.
Yes, you were asking about the 89 of Gio Bramante. He is a young 13-year-old He is a real race car driver in real life. As a matter of fact, he was in outside of Kenly, North Carolina this last Saturday evening racing. He races for David Gilliland Racing. I can't remember the exact name of the cars he's racing, but he qualified second in that race, had some car issues, came back out, and was involved in another accident someone else caused. Actually broke his thumb, so he's racing with a broken thumb tonight as well as last night.
A little bit easier to race with a broken thumb here on the sim. I can't wait to hear how he races with a broken thumb in real life. He can overcome that. He's got a good chance moving up in the series that they have. But he's to the back bumper now of Mark Jackson in turn number 3. To the back bumper of the number 3 as they come out of turn number 4. Mark Jackson still has the lead, but that momentum carrying that 89 coming to the back bumper.
Yes, it looks like he's definitely got the momentum there. And I was going to talk real quick, since we had the big shake-up there, Gabe, of some big movers. Of course, Gia Bramante in that 89 is up from 27th to 2nd. We've also got Craig Learman in that 77. He's got a new paint scheme on his car tonight. He's started in 17th. He's up to 4th. We've also got, looks like, Donald Stewart. He was a driver that was serving a penalty at the beginning of the race.
Yeah, talk about that. That surprised me.
Yes, sir. Restarted. He actually started from pit road, so he went a lap down at the beginning of the race. He is up to 6th place tonight in that 78 machine. We'll have to get him for an interview whether he finishes the top 3 or not, because this is a great run for him.
So I saw the 28 of Gerald Heffley got into the wall out of turn number 4 into the tri-oval, so a little bit of damage on that 28 machine. But back up front, that 89 to the back bumper still. He's been able just to kind of ride there in his draft, and these two guys are pulling away. They're about 0.8 of a second in front of the field now, 1.4. So a huge gap now. They pulled it out. They doubled their lead in that last lap. If these guys were smart, they'd just sit here and ride.
Yeah, I tell you what, they are looking good, although they're racing hard. It looks like the next battle is all alone. Jeffrey Ford in that 246 a few laps ago. Matter of fact, Gabe, he missed his pit stall. Came down pit road, he missed it. Didn't get tires, didn't get fuel. Luckily, we have another caution. He's up to 3rd place now, racing with that Border Patrol agent, paint job on his Ford. So he's having a great run.
Gap now to 2 seconds. These drivers, they are pulling away from the rest of the field by an average of 0.6 of a second per lap. These two are the class of the field at the moment. But Jeffrey Ford is on those old, he was on those old tires. He's now on the same strategy as the rest of the field. But Giovanni not being able to make the move. He's just about even with the 3 of Mark Jackson as they go into turn number 1. And we are now at lap 100. So it's counting down. We've got 66 laps to go.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, this Donald Stewart, I was going to try to get a real quick look. Donald Stewart racing tonight. He is in that, it looks like, excuse me just one second. He is in that Boston Red Sox Chevy Camaro. Also on the hood, in loving memory of Everett Stewart. We do want to appreciate Donald for his great hard work tonight and his beautiful paint job on that number 78 Camaro.
Speaking of hard work, he's going after 3rd now.
I tell you what, he's definitely putting on a show. He's got to be the biggest.
Some lap traffic trying to get out of the way. That got a little tense there.
It sure did. Some of these drivers with their damage are a little bit off the pace, but they got every right to be on the track as long as they can stay out of the way. So Donald Stewart's up to 3rd position now. And Mark Jackson looks like he is getting past. He's got some on the inside. Giovanni Bramante's got the run going down the backstretch, although Mark Jackson's fighting back on the outside.
Side by side for the lead. The momentum carries that 3 on the outside. Let's look and see. Giovanni made that move to the inside, but it did not work. So now he's got to catch him by about 4 car lengths again. He's got to get back up there, but he does have the car to do it. Now Mark Jackson actually running now that outside lane through turns 1 and 2. He's actually going to lose a bit of time to Giovanni. So that outside lane, it's only really good if you're trying to defend a position, because you need all that room to work your way and get some speed coming out of the exit of the corner. As they work their way around the 420 of Russ Coe, a very slow car. He's able to get out of the way of these drivers.
Yeah, good move on Russ's part. And if you keep an eye on this battle in front, I'm going to kind of take us through the field. We talked about 1 and 2 and 3. In 4th, we have the 71 of Wesley Whitfield. He has moved all the way from 11th up to 4th. He's having a great run. We've also got, looks like in 5th position, William Davis. He started in 6th. He's up to 5th, but he's dodged all these cautions and accidents. His car looks very clean. He's got a shot for the win tonight. Looks like in 8th position we have got Craig Learman. I mentioned him earlier. He's racing tonight in that 77 Marine Corps Chevrolet Camaro, another military-sponsored car in the race tonight. We love that. Gabe, a little bit of right front fender damage, but he's definitely moving up to the field. And we've also got, I think he's up to 7th, and then Kyle Kammer is in 8th. He was involved in that most recent caution, but he's definitely making some headway. And don't look now, Ellery Queen, otherwise known as Jay Queen, he's in that Impact Ford Mustang GT.
Caution is out.
He's up to 9th from 24th.
Looks like, oh no, Wesley Whitfield in the number 71.
We were just talking about him. He was having a great run.
Oh, that had to be a technical issue on that 71 machine. He went into turn number 1 and went straight on into the fence and rode it through the entirety of turns 1 and 2. And eventually, I believe, coming to a stop. And who was that? Maybe Tim Cox spun it out trying to get around him.
Yes, that definitely.
Yeah, it looks like he got loose coming off of turn number 2, cranking the wheel, trying to miss that 71 machine.
Yes, whatever issue he had, he did do a good job of keeping it up against the wall. And looks like the 19 got loose coming around him.
Let me actually go down to the Southeast Motorsports pit and see what happened to the 71.
Yeah. Yes, sir. He's going to try to figure out what happened there. And I'm also going to be talking here to the 19. Tim B. Cox was spun out there as well, but I do not think he was the cause of that caution. It looks like he just was in the aftermath, so to speak, as he's trying to avoid the 71. Fearing he would be coming off the wall, he cranks it hard left, overcorrects, and he slides right down the back strip. So Tim B. Cox in that 19 does not hit anything, but he is definitely going to have to get 4 brand new Goodyear Eagles if he wants to maintain a top 10 position here in the race. Looks like we've got the 9 cores of Chad Payne. Didn't talk much about him. His car has got some heavy smoke coming out the back. And looks like he's going to be able to make it all the way back around, hopefully, the pit road. Hopefully, he's just got a oil cooler line knocked off of that number 9 Coors Light. That's a great-looking paint scheme for Chad. But he's definitely smoking, so hopefully we'll be able to get something fixed on that car. He does have some right front fender damage to that Ford Mustang. And we have got Gabe back. What did you find out, Gabe?
Well, unfortunately, I can't get a hold of Wesley, so some real bad technical issues on that 71. They said he has not talked yet. So I think, yeah, he had some major computer failure on that number 71 machine.
Yes, I was just noticing that the number 9 cores of Chad Payne is smoking heavily. We don't know if he's got an oil cooler line busted, a radiator busted, or what. He's just waiting to get down pit road to get some repairs, and this could be a lengthy caution to get all this oil cleanup off the track.
Have to wait and see what happens. Mark Jackson, though, in the lead now. Again, Giovanni Bermonte in the number 89 machine in that second spot. So, you know, after that wreck, we've really seen it took out Judd Danielson. It took out the 56 of Bonwell, Charpentier. You know, it took out everybody that Mark Jackson had to race with. If you think about it, we had, you know, the 7-car breakaway. That took out 5 of our drivers. Those are the only 2 left. So that's why we're seeing them pull out by about 0.6 of a second per lap during that long green flag run.
Yes, so the question now, with about 70 laps to go, I do not think they can make it on this last tank of fuel to the end. So strategy is going to come into play. We do have quite a few cars on pit road getting some damage, or they've already been taken behind the wall into the garage area. So with fewer cars on the track, that could lead to some green flag racing. And I don't know if these guys will be able to stretch it here on the fuel, or if they're going to have one more pit stop, but strategy is really going to come into play here.
All right, Robert, one more time before we go green. I'm going to check on the 71 of Wesley Whitfield, see if he's come to.
All right, sounds good. I'm going to give us just a quick update on the running order. It looks like we got Mark Jackson will have the start of the race here restart. Giovanni Bermonte will be in second. William Davis is up to third. Donald Stewart, like we said, the biggest mover so far, is up to fourth. We've got Kyle Cameron, had some issues earlier. He's up to 5th. Craig Learman in that Marine machine is looking good tonight. He's up to 6th. Ellery or Jay Queen has made some big moves, involved in a couple things. He started 24th. He's up to 7th. Mark McFadden in that 67 Middle High Life. He started in 28th. He's up to 8th. He definitely led a few laps here. And we've also got, looks like Dustin Lee is in 10th position for the restart here. I forgot to mention Jeffrey Ford in that Border Patrol Ford Mustang GT. He is up to 9th. Another big mover, Tim B. Cox, started 30th. He's in 11th. Eric Stanford started 23rd. He's up to 12th. Sean Kalitz, another young driver, started 36th. He's up to 13th. Ivan Garcia started 33rd. He's up to 14th. Chad Payne, I think he's got some engine issues. He's a couple laps down now, 15th. So we'll see how this restart's going to pan out. It looks like the pace car is coming around turn 3 and 4, and we're going to be ready for this restart here. And we're going to do one more time a Domino's TYJ Racing Crank It Up.
Wesley Whitfield, unfortunately, still has not responded. Coming to the line, Mark Jackson is your leader. Lap number 115 out of 167. Your top 4. Mark Jackson, Giovanni Bramante, Will Davis, and Donald Stewart continuing his good recovery from starting in pit road and being a lap down 3 laps into the race to now being up inside the top 5. So Donald Stewart doing a good job in that 78 machine. That Boston Red Sox number 78. It's just a full breakaway, and now you got Kyle Kamer in that 5th spot. So the class of the field showing right now, Kyle Kamer is really the only one left other than Mark Jackson of that original top 7 that got taken out in that wreck.
Yes, sir. We do have the field has thinned a little bit. We've got some fast cars up front. And these drivers tonight, this is a crown jewel event, Gabe. There is a little bit of money on the line. So the drivers who win this extended race, it is 167 laps. It is about 35 laps longer than normal at our mile-and-a-half tracks. Whoever wins and comes in 2nd and 3rd, they're going to be earning their paycheck tonight.
Great little payout for these drivers in the Crown Jewel event. Here comes Bramante to the back bumper, 1 car length away from Jackson as they come up on a lap car, the 420 of Russ Coe, coming out of turn number 4. Some damage to that number 420 machine as they come out of turn number 4. Unfortunate for him. But Bramante now to the back bumper. Your top 4. You can throw the top 2 under a blanket. Oh, Mark Jackson washes up the racetrack. Here comes Will Davis to the lead.
I tell you what, that opens the door, and don't look now, but the 78 of Donald Stewart, he's also going to make a move on the inside as they scream down the backstretch going into turn 3.
2 by 2 for the lead. Will Davis, can he get clear? Yes. Will Davis in the number 11 gets clear coming off of turn number 4. Mark Jackson now side by side with Donald Stewart for 2nd. He's now going to back out of the gas and go to the end of the line. It's a top 3, throw him under a blanket, as I said again, but with a different running order. Now your top 4. It's Will Davis in the number 11. The 78 of Donald Stewart, Giovanni Bramante in the 89, and Mark Jackson in the 4th spot. Here comes Bramante to the inside. The 89's got that inside coming out of turn number 4. They're side by side. Can he get that position? Looks like he's got a fast enough car to do it. But what a surprise, Will Davis now to the lead with just over 40 laps to go. Bramante gets clear, now he's going for the lead. Can he get a 2 for 1 in 1 lap? He's to the back bumper now, down the back straightaway.
As we're talking about that, we've got some heated battles in the back here. We've got Jay Queen getting some heat from, it looks like the 32 of Dustin Lee has moved up to his inside, so that'll move Dustin Lee up to the 8th position. And don't look now, the 67 of Mark McFadden is going to make a move on the inside of the 60s as they cross the start-finish line. He's going to try to take away that 8th position from Ellery Queen.
Going to move back up front because I can see this battle developing. Your top 4, they've now settled down. But the 89, he's building up his momentum. In the next few laps, watch for Giovanni to make a move to the lead. That TRD number 89 has got some speed under the hood. Coming to the line this time by lap 122. Looks like they gap maintaining. The 78 of Donald Stewart's actually closing in. So your top 3, Mark Jackson, unfortunately, it's almost like a straight stock race when we were rookies. Once one guy loses the draft, he's really just out to dry, really. So unfortunate for him. He's got some work to do. Giovanni moves to the outside, now to the inside in turn number 3 and 4. Not going to be able to make the move that time, but he's getting close, Robert.
Yes, sir. He's trying the inside lane. He's trying the outside lane. Everything he can do to get around Will Davis. He's kind of trying to intimidate the 11 into making a mistake, and that's all that Giovanni Bramante needs is for the 11 to make one mistake. But I tell you one thing, Gabe, the 11 of Will Davis is a talented driver in our series. He's got a lot of top 10 finishes, and he is not going to let the youngster pass him easy at all.
Here comes Bramante. He's going to try and make the move again. He's got to stay in the gas if he wants to keep that momentum up. He got closer that time by, but Will Davis continuing to slide up the racetrack, so that may be the 89's opportunity. He's running about half a lane off that bottom side, and that could be Giovanni's move. Here they come off of turn number 2. He's to the outside now. Look for that crossover move going into turn number 3. He's going to show to the outside and duck to the inside. There he goes. Can he get to the back bumper? Will Davis slides up the racetrack. Here comes that run again.
He's doing everything he can, and this is the second, maybe third, fourth lap in a row, and he is not able to complete the pass. I heard we got some spin in the back stretch, but we are staying green and clean here as these leaders are, yes, sir.
Staying green, staying with the leaders. The 89 pushes up, coming off of turn number 2. This is what we're going to have to look out for. We've gone green for a little bit now. Watch for any of these drivers to start making some mistakes, trying to run as fast as they can. Here comes that 89 again. Got a good run coming off of turn number 4. Got some lap traffic to deal with. The 23 of Ivan Garcia. Get out of the way. You are not involved in this battle for the lead, and it is going to be good. Looks like the next car is going to be the 003 of Cal Charpentier. They're going to be trying to get side by side by the time they get to him, but it's not going to be. They're going to go single file, and now Nick Reynolds is also going to let these top 4 by.
Yes, sir. As these leaders pass and maneuver around these lap traffic,
89 gets loose on the bottom.
and he saves it. The 78 gets loose. They're both in the grass. They come to the start finish. That's going to give.
Here comes Ivan Garcia. Oh, the 23 spins out. Can he hang on to it? No, he can't. Ivan Garcia spins it out, trying to avoid the leaders wrecking.
I tell you, that was an amazing piece of driving on the 89 of Giovanni Bramante and the 78 of Donald Stewart. They both got in the grass. The 23, like you said, just trying to avoid him. He actually does avoid him, but unfortunately he spins himself out. The caution comes out, and we're going to restack the field with these drivers. I tell you what, Gabe, you're not going to see much more exciting racing as this.
No, we're not, and let's see if I can get a hold of Donald Stewart, actually, because I got to talk to him about this racing up front, or at least any of these drivers.
Yes, sir. While you do that, we are going to take a quick second and take our final commercial break, fans. We're going to be right back here watching the Cross Continent 250 live on All Pro Broadcasting. We'll be back in just a minute.
Smithley, driver the number 0, JD Motorsports Chevrolet, and you're watching All Pro Broadcasting.
You're watching All Pro Broadcasting with
Freedom Train.
We're back live here at Charlotte Motor Speedway and getting ready for the restart here. Going to have a quick moment and a chat with the driver of the 11. Will Davis, you got a copy before we go green?
Yeah, man, go ahead.
All right, you came out of nowhere, and now you are racing for the lead and the win with drivers like Mark Jackson, Kyle Kamer, and looks like Giovanni Bramante was up there, but now he's slid back through the field. Can you get it done?
Yeah, I think I got a pretty good shot. Hopefully at least at the top 3. Just been trying to keep my nose clean most of the night. And yeah, just by my time.
All right, one more question here. You know, out of anybody who's up here, I asked this to Mark Jackson earlier, who's your biggest threat?
I don't know. I haven't been up here all night, so I don't really know the threats yet. But I guess Mark Jackson seems pretty fast. I think he said on the pole, so.
All right, Will, we'll have a good race and good luck in the final 30 laps.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate that, Gabe. I tell you what, this restart's going to be exciting. These cars will have enough fuel to make it to the end of the race. So it's going to be strategy. Who can be the fastest car over the last few laps? I'll let you take it, Gabe.
Here they come back to the green flag. The Will Davis machine gets a great restart here on lap number 132. Mark Jackson pulls it down to the bottom. Now side-by-side battle for Kyle Kamer and Dustin Lee for that 3rd and 4th spot. The battle for the money spot.
Behind them, it looks like we've got Craig Lehrman in that 77 Marine machine. He's been up front pretty much all night. He's having a great run tonight. He started all the way back in 17th. And I also wanted to bring up Don Stewart in the 78. I think he's falling back a little bit further, but we got some other drivers in the mix now. Looks like we've got Eric Stanford, and the 24 is up to 5th. Yes, sir.
It's a big gaggle of cars between Giovanni Bramante, Mark McFadden, Ellery Queen. About the back half of the top 10 are all squished together. Looks like from about Eric Stanford back to the 78 of Donald Stewart, it's going to be a good fight for those final few positions. But back up front, I'm going to keep following this battle and see if anything develops. But Mark Jackson, spins it sideways, coming across the start-finish line, saves it again through the grass. So an unfortunate turn of events for Mark Jackson again. He was going for the lead and hit the wall coming off of turn number 4.
Yes, sir. It drops him all the way back to 9th, 10th. I'm looking at the replay real quick. If you cover the leaders, I'll see it looks like he just got loose, but we'll see if there was any contact at all.
Will Davis in the number 11 now all alone out front. Kyle Kamer in the 51 in that 2nd spot. Dustin Lee in 3rd. So it's going to be a big fight for that 2nd spot. Look for any drivers coming up through the field. Giovanni Bramante from 10th now into 9th. And now going after 8th of Mark McFadden in that 8th spot. That 67 Miller High Life 4 Mustang. He's now running that outside lane, trying to protect from that 89 on the inside. Looks like it's paying off for the time being.
Yes, sir, Gabe. Looks like exactly what happened was the 11 got loose right in front of Mark Jackson. He was all over the back of him, just barely touched him. And to avoid it, it got himself up into the wall, spun him through the grass, and an incredible save by Mark Jackson 3. Hopefully he's got time to get back up there.
I don't think he does. 7 seconds to make it up in about 30 laps. He can get it done, though. Looks like Giovanni Bramante made the move on Mark McFadden, now going after Ellery Queen, J Queen. So the other drivers calling, and he's going to go for 2 for 1 in turn number 3. Down to the inside of the 62 in 3 and 4.
Yes, sir, and up front, I tell you what, this is going to be called the Race of Surprises. We had the leaders up front early in this race, Gabe. We had a lot of shakeups in the middle of the race. We've even had Mark Jackson in the lead. He's gotten loose twice and lost control, maintained control, but lost the lead. And now we've got a new leader up front, Will Davis, but don't look now, Dustin Lee has moved all the way up to 2nd. And Kyle Kamer, he was involved in an accident earlier in the race, midway through, and he's up to 3rd. So this is a race of surprises. You never know Craig Limerick can pull this off. We could also have Ellery Queen get his first win. He's having a great run tonight, although he had some issues earlier. Mark McFadden led a few laps. He He's running in 9th. He could actually get something done here. And don't rule out Donald Stewart. He made his way all the way from a penalty on pit road to the lead of this race almost. Issues on that last pit stop. He's running in 10th. I don't know if he's got time to make it, but he's definitely proven to be a fast driver tonight, Gabe.
Great night for Will Davis, almost doubling his lap lead count in 2017. He's got 1 top 10 so far in 7 or 8 races, so it's been a tough ride for that 11 machine. But he's got 2 poles, so he's shown some speed, but now he's out front and 20 laps away from a victory.
It looks like we got one loose on the bottom. He's trying to hold it up, and he is able to save it. It looks like the 24 of Eric Stanford. I think he just got a little tag from the 89 of Giovanni Bramante. And I tell you what, Eric Stanford, as well as a half dozen or a dozen other drivers tonight, Gabe, have really impressed me with their car control. I know how loose these cars are getting on this track with the small spoiler, and that's about the 3rd or 4th time I've seen, maybe 6th or 8th time, I've seen a driver lose it, maintain control.
Bramante losing in the entry to turn number 3. He loses it, but he hangs on to it.
There again's another example. I tell you what, these cars are a handful. We say here at Domino's TYJ Racing, we're putting you on the fast track to fast. If these drivers aren't learning something about how to handle an Xfinity car with a low downforce package, I don't know where else you're going to learn it.
Bramante maintains that 5th spot. Craig Norman now in 4th. But your 2nd and 3rd place driver, they're still going at it. Dustin Lee and Kyle Kamer in the 51 and the 32. They are still fighting it out for that 2nd spot, and getting pulled away by Will Davis in that number 11 machine. So it's, really being an easy ride for Will Davis at the moment.
Yes, sir, but as we've seen before, we've seen the leader on a number of occasions, Gabe, get loose once these tires get some wear on them. So Will might be thinking he's out there on easy street, but I sure hope he's maintaining awareness that these tires can break loose at any minute. Like I said, I did many laps in this car on this track in this exact same weather condition, and just out of nowhere, the back end will snap loose after 5-10 laps, and we have another caution.
Speaking of which, so it's happened to somebody. I think we got some smoke coming out of turn number 4. Mark Jackson again. Number 3 machine was on the outside in turn number 3 to the outside of, looks like the 19 of Tim Cox. He just got loose on the outside lane. Ended up slid sideways and into the 98, and the 420 of Russ Coe got caught up as well.
Yes, and Russ Coe, he has kept himself clean all night long. I think he was actually running, doing pretty well, but that was definitely unfortunate. Yeah, it looks like the 3 of Mark Jackson trying to make a move around the 19, just as I was talking about the leaders having issues with the tires breaking loose. That's exactly what happened to Mark Jackson. He locked it down, unfortunately collected the 98 of Andrew Kessler. I tell you what, Andrew's been keeping it clean all night long. He was up to actually the 23rd position. He's had issues before, but this is going to be lead us to be able to restack the field all over again. And I think Russ Coe is out of the race. So I am sure all the drivers are going to be on pit road here. If they're smart, and they are, they're going to get 4 brand new fresh Goodyear Eagles. They might only need 1 can of Sunoco Racing Fuel here to make it to the end. But we're going to have a whole nother shootout. And I tell you what, if you think it's been exciting so far, fans, you have seen nothing yet. And I do want to remind you that we will announce the pizza winner here in just a few minutes once the race is concluded. Again, we thank you for being patient on this Crown Jewel event. It is extended laps for a little bit of a payout for these drivers that work all year long practicing. They've got spotters, they've got teams. They do everything they can to get the best finish. And on these 4 different Crown Jewel races, this one, Daytona at the beginning of the year, another one later, and then the very end of the year at a Homestead, the Crown Jewel races are a little bit longer. What it does, fans, it makes the best drivers show their talent and how they can be patient to make it to the end. And we're definitely seeing a big mix-up on who's leading this race here at the end. And I'll tell you what, a lot of guys have had some unfortunate luck, and that has opened the door for some other guys to have some great finishes.
Robert, I've been down there talking to a few drivers, including the 32 of Dustin Lee, who's riding in second. Got a little quote from him. He thinks he can win this race. He says he's got about as fast a car as Will, but he's just got to stay consistent and keep under that back bumper of the number 11 to stay with him.
Yes, sir. In the broadcast booth, I have the 45 of Sean Kalis. How you doing tonight, Sean, in that Exide Ford Mustang?
Hey, doing great.
I tell you what, just tell us real quick, and we'll let you go. You have moved all the way up to the 5th position, looks like, Sean. At least that's what I was showing earlier.
Yeah, it's showing me at first now, but...
Actually, yeah, you just crossed the start finish. Oh, so you haven't pitted yet, but you're having a great run, Sean. I tell you what, you're new to the league. You've been in the league about, 4 weeks now? Tell us how you've gained this speed in the last 4 weeks.
I give a lot of credit to Judd. He's helped me a ton, and I've got some other friends out there, and just some of the open races just had a lot of good advice. So it's been a blast.
I tell you what, Sean, we're happy you're in the league, and I tell you one thing. Not only are you improving on the track, but you bring some of the best paint jobs on your cars every single race. We appreciate it, Sean. Good luck for the end of the race.
Hey, I appreciate you guys letting me be here.
Yes, sir. Talk to you in Victory Circle or top 3, hopefully.
Sean Kalis in the 45. Now we're going to get ready for the restart here on lap number 146. Across the start-finish line, they should get the one-to-go signal. Looks like the drivers are starting to form up 2 by 2, so yes, maybe. Can't exactly see the pace car.
Yeah, I'm looking right now. Lights are out. It looks like here's how they're going to line up for the restart. Sorry about that, Gabe. It looks like we're going to have William Davis bringing us to the restart. Dustin Lee on the outside. Kyle Kamer starting 3rd. Giovanni Bramante, do not rule out this young driver. He's going to be restarting in 4th. Craig Learman, been up in the front at the end of this race for the last 30, 40 laps. Looks like he's got a good shot. Jay or Ellery Queen will be restarting 6th. Jeffrey Ford in that Border Patrol car, he'll be starting in 7th. Tim B. Cox 8th. Eric Stanford 9th. And rounding out the top 10 for the restart here will be Donald Stewart in the 78.
Going to be a good restart here. And I tell you what, one more time, let's do just a quick little crank it up, because we got to hear these cars one more time as they barrel in the turn number 1 as they get ready for the restart. That Olive Hill Welding number 32 on the outside, that's Dustin Lee. And the 11 of William Davis come to the line. Here they go. Let's go with an All-Pro Broadcasting. Crank it up. Here they come to the line. Will Davis, 1.5 tenths in front of Dustin Lee on lap number 150, 17 to go. Next time by Giovanni Bramante to the outside, and the number 89 machine to the outside of Kyle Kamer in turn number 1. Can he get that momentum going?
He is looking good on the outside there, Gabe. He does have the momentum. He's got 1 car length going into the corner, and that outside lane should give him the momentum.
89 of Bramante now on to the podium. They come to the line now, 17 laps to go. Can Will Davis hold off Dustin Lee? It looks like he can right now, 0.3 of a second. But here comes Bramante. He's shown he's had one of the top 2 cars all night, up from the 27th starting position.
Yes, I'm going to speak about a couple of cars a little bit further back in the field. Again, we have Craig Lumen in that 6 Marine Corps Chevrolet Camaro giving all kind of heat to Jeffrey Ford. Actually, Jeffrey Ford is right around him as Lumen just touches the grass.
I'll tell you what, Robert, let's go back up front because the second place is being changed hands. Bramante now up into 2nd.
Yes, sir. He's in that Toyota Let's Go Places Racing Development Toyota Camry. Beautiful paint job on that 89.
Somewhere.
He is going through the lead. That's exactly what he's trying to do. We got about 10, 12 laps, well, actually, excuse me, 14, 15 laps to go here. And I think he can get it done, but Will Davis is going to be driving half the time out the windshield and most of the time out the rearview mirror to see where this youngster is.
He picked up 0.2 of a second just as he was passing somebody, so he's doing a very good job. That number 89, here he comes. And the caution comes out yet again.
Yes, sir, fans. We'll get that replay pulled up real quick here to see exactly what happened.
Looks like the 85 of Judd Danielson sitting on the bottom side of the racetrack in turn number 1. Oh, a little bit of glitch from the 85 machine as he went into turn number 1, hit that outside wall, and ended up spinning him out sideways into turn number 1.
Yeah, that's exactly what looks like happened. I see the sparks flying, and it looks like he got caught into that safer barrier.
Yeah, there's a few places on the iRacing service. I know the outside wall on the backstretch of New Hampshire, it's bad about it. But there's some places where if you hit that wall, it's just going to spit you back out.
Yeah, that's exactly true. That happens from time to time. And that's going to give these leaders one more shot to rack them up again.
Will Davis comes into the pits, but Bramante stays out.
Wow. That's definitely going to be a big change of things.
And look and see who all stays out behind that number 89 machine. You got the 89. Looks like we got the 51 of Kyle Kamer, Donald Stewart, Craig Lerman, Ellery Queen, Eric Stanford. So about your top 6 have not come down the pit road, or have not come down the pit road. This is going to make it interesting. These guys on new tires. You got the fastest car in the field up front, and you got the second fastest car in the field on new tires of Will Davis. So it's going to be a fun, interesting race.
Yes, sir. I tell you what, this is really going to be incredible. It's going to give these leaders a chance to show who's got what they got on the restart here with just a few laps to go.
I think if Bramante can get a good restart here, he's pretty much got this in hand. If he can get just about a 2 or 3 car length lead to begin with, he can pull away from the 51 and the 78 and give himself just a little bit of a buffer. To come off of turn number 4, they're going to get ready for the restart. Will they get the one to go this time by? I have to wait and see. Maybe this time by or next time. Lights are still on, so we're going to get 2 to go. We're at the 2 to go.
Yeah, I tell you what, this is going to be really incredible.
Yeah, I want to thank all of you for watching tonight. It looks like we got a good number of people watching tonight's race, so I want to thank all of you for tuning in on the All Pro Broadcasting Network. This is the Cross Continent 250, live here from Charlotte, closing in on the end of tonight's race. Bramante in the lead. Going to give you a rundown of your updated top 10. Bramante in the lead, Kyle Kamer in second, Donald Stewart in the 78 in third, Craig Lerman, Ellery Queen, Eric Stanford, Will Davis on new tires in that 7th spot, Dustin Lee, Jeffrey Ford, and your top 10 rounded out by Tim Cox in the 19 machine. Mark McFadden and Mark Jackson rounded out your lead lap cars, so 12 cars on the lead lap. Sean Kalis is your only driver on the lead, or off the lead lap.
Yes, sir. I was going to tell you, Gabe, that we do have quite a few folks who have chimed in for the free pizza giveaway. We've got one person has picked Gary Sexton. One person's...
Anybody picked that 89?
I'm looking down the list. Somebody's picked Mark Jackson. Somebody's picked Josh Bodwell, his mother, of course. Somebody's picked the 420. You got somebody has picked the 003. Somebody has picked the 56. That's another one. Another person's picked the 3 of Mark Jackson. And then I'm going to look over on the race chat, and I'll update you after the checkered flag.
That's going to be a shame if the 89 slipped under the rug. It did not get picked up by somebody for the free pizza, because that 89 has been fast all night. He just has been running toward the mid-pack, not been able to get up front. But now he's in the lead with 6 cars behind him to kind of buffer himself on these old tires. Going down the back straightaway, Robert, one more last thoughts before we go green.
I tell you what, I'm looking to see who maybe can steal a win. The 89 has proven to get loose on occasion. We do have just a handful of laps, but it could happen. He's a youngster. He could overdrive the car. So who could sneak up and steal this win from him? I'm thinking Donald Stewart. He's an older, smart driver. He could steal the win. Craig Learman could steal the win, and I'd love to see Ellery J. Queen steal the win, or Rick Stanford. I'd even love to see Jeffrey Ford. We talked to him at the beginning of the race with the Border Patrol in his car. I'd love to see him sneak up there and steal the win.
Here they come off of turn number 4. Pace car pulls down. Their 12 lead lap drivers lead them to the green, and Donald Stewart gets a good restart behind the 89 as they come to the green flag. We're down to the turn number 1, just under 10 laps to go for these drivers. Remember, when we get toward 5 laps to go, they do not have a system to have a green-white checker. So these guys, if they go, if we get a caution with 5 laps to go, the race will be over with. That's why these guys, they're 3 wide back in the pack. 17 of Gary Sexton goes to the inside between the 24 of Eric Stanford.
And they're still 3 wide back there.
And the 32 of Dustin Lee and Craig Lerman got stuck on the outside there, but the battle up front is still brewing. Donald Stewart is to the back bumper. Can he get it done? He stayed tucked up underneath that 89 machine through turns 1 and 2.
He's going to have a big momentum run here on the backstretch. And like I said earlier, Gio is going to be looking out the rearview mirror as much as the front windshield, trying to keep him behind him.
Coming to the line, it'll be 8 laps to go for these drivers. Giovanni Bramante in the lead.
Didn't you say Will Davis came down and got 4 brand new tires?
Yep, here he comes. He's in 11th.
Yes, he's in 11 car. Yeah, he's in 4th, looking on the outside right now of Kyle Cameron. He's going to probably have the momentum to get around him going down the backstretch here. So he's going to put him up into the 3rd position.
Yeah, I apologize. That driver who made it 3 wide, that wasn't Gary Sexton. That was the 11 of Will Davis on the new tires.
I'll tell you what, new tires in these cars, than any car NASCAR car, will make you feel like Superman. You got drivers. Pardon me for that. Trying to make them move all over the track here.
Closing in on the finish, does Will Davis have enough time? He's got to catch him, and he's got to get past Donald Stewart to get into 2nd and work on Giovanni Bramante. It's about 1.5 tenths between the top 2, and then 4 tenths of a second back to Will Davis coming out of turn number 4. They're closing in. 5 laps to go. Should be next time by.
And I don't know if it's just me, but it looks like the brake rotors on that number 78 are glowing red. That could be the paint on his rims, but he's definitely driving this car hard.
This is up the racetrack. That's going to let Will Davis get around him. And now Will Davis has nobody to contend with but the 89. It's going to get close here, coming off of turn number 4. Coming to 5 laps to go. This time by, can Giovanni Bramante hold them off?
Yes, sir. We're going to have about 4 laps to go now. And it definitely is going to be up to the 11 of Will Davis and the 89 youngster with a broken thumb of Gia Bramante. We do have some lap traffic up front. They clearly passed the 23 lap car of Ivan Garcia. Does a great job staying out of the way.
4 laps to go for Giovanni Bramante. Can he hold off the 4 brand new tires? Will Davis, 1.5 tenths, about 2 tenths of a second, separates your top 2. Can he get it done? Down the back straightaway, momentum's coming for that 11.
Yes, he's definitely closing it every single corner. Looks like he's going to go ahead.
If that 11 gets by him, it is all over for the 89. He's on old tires. He's got to hold him off. So one car slow on the outside to the back toward turn number 4. But it looks like he saves it and keeps it going. It's 3 laps to go for Giovanni Bramante. It's going to be a close fight for the finish coming out of turn number 2 down the back straightaway.
Will Davis has got a great run on the outside here. He might look low here coming as we go into turn 3 and 4. He's right on the bumper of the 89. The 89 gives him a little bit of a block.
Chops the nose off of the 11 going into turn number 3. Here they go. Popsicle sticks in the air. 2 laps to go for Giovanni Bramante.
Looks like the 11 is looking on the inside here.
Oh, it's getting close. He chops the nose off again going into turn number 1. That buys him a little bit of time there down the back straightaway. Will Davis, he's got to be driving angry now. Going into turn number 3. It's going to be 1 lap to go this time.
And don't look now, the 78 of Donald Stewart is making some headway. It's going to be a 3-way battle for the win here as we go to the checkered flag, and I'll let you call it, Gabe.
1 lap to go for Giovanni Bramante going into turn number 1. It's going to be close here. He's to the back bumper. Will Davis is coming out of turn number 2. Down the back straightaway for the final time. He shoves him down to the bottom. Here they come down the back straightaway into 3. Can Giovanni Bramante hold him off? Now he's got to deal with Will Davis on new tires. He's going to flat-foot it. Here he comes. He's going to have that bottom lane. Side by side coming to line. Giovanni gets spun. Donald Stewart wins it.
Are you sure about that?
Oh, Will Davis got it.
It looks like Will Davis just barely got him by .035.
Oh, that's going to be something for the admins to look at.
Yes, sir. If you'll go over the finishing order there, I'm definitely going to take a good look at this.
Will Davis got into the left rear quarter panel of Giovanni Bramante coming off of turn number 4 and beat him sliding through the grass. That's going to be one thing to look for. So Will Davis, this is nothing. This is not official. But Will Davis is your winner. Unofficially, Donald Stewart in 2nd, Giovanni Bramante in 3rd. Dustin Lee in 4th, Kyle Kamer in 5th. Ellery Queen in 6th. Eric Stanford in the 7th spot. Jeffrey Ford in 8th. Mark McFadden in 9th. And Craig Lerman in the 10th spot.
Go ahead, Gabe.
In 11th spot is Tim Cox in the number 19 machine. Mark Jackson in the 12th spot. Now into your lap down drivers. Sean Kalis, Gary Sexton, Nick Reynolds, Ivan Garcia, Kyle Charpentier. Russ Coe in 18th, Chad Payne in 19th, James Somke in 20th. Wesley Whitfield in the 71. It starts out your top 21. Gerald Heffley, Judd Danielson, Andrew Kessler in 24th, Ray Richer in 25th. Josh Bonwell in 26th, Shane Parrish, Curtis Young, Cody Griffin, Jeff T. Martin round out your top 30. Jeremy Crandall, Jack Watts, Ramon Vasquez, and Gerald Campbell in 35th rounds out your 35-car field. John Paul Arsenault did not start tonight's event.
I tell you what, Gabe, that was an incredible finish. If you will take the time to get the top 3 finishers ready for interviews, I will definitely go over exactly what happened here on this last lap. I tell you what, this has been some of the most incredible racing I've seen in a long time. We had another great... Go ahead.
Are we officially declaring the 11 the winner?
I'll give you the word once you get them up in the room. I'm still going to go over this for a couple more minutes here, but I tell you what, we definitely had some amazing racing there. I tell you what, the 89 did everything he could do to hold off the 11. And Donald Stewart in the 78 was just looking for his opportunity. Looking at this one more time as they are coming to the start-finish line. It looks like this was just a dead heat. Some of the best racing. The 89 of Gio Bramante was doing everything he could. The 11 of Will Davis, he had to run on the inside for the last time.
What I'm seeing here is the 11, he tried to bump him. He ended up spinning him sideways, but I mean, it's not my call to make. We've got the drivers ready. Who am I surprising with the win?
Let's talk to the 78, who finished 3rd, I think, and let's find out exactly how he got. Actually,
Bramante finished in 3rd.
Yeah, well, let's talk to Donald Stewart, because he was not really involved in the contact. Let's talk to him and figure out how he came from a penalty at the beginning of the race all the way to finish 2nd.
All right, Robert, you're down there with Donald Stewart.
Donald Stewart, this is Robert and Gabe up in the broadcast booth. I tell you what, you had a penalty at the beginning of this race. You were a gentleman to accept that penalty from a race a couple of weeks ago, and you had an incredible run. I tell you what, this was a long race. You came out of nowhere, I'll be honest with you, and you absolutely surprised me. I think you surprised a lot of fans. How did you get this done?
Well, you know, Robert, me being honest with you about that penalty is good karma. And I think good karma helped me tonight, and I had a good coach in my ear tonight, and he was keeping me calm, telling us all what to do. I just took my time, didn't push it, waited for everybody else to make their mistakes, and then at the end, we were there.
Well, I tell you what, you did what I've talked about many, many times in these broadcasts. You had excellent strategy starting from the very back. You had great calls by your crew chief. You had great calls by your spotter, calling you clear on making passes. I don't think you made any mistakes on pit road either. Entering pit road, exiting, your pit crew didn't drop any lug nuts. You got your fuel every time, the tires. You made great pit strategy calls there. and you drove your you-know-what off. I tell you what, Donald, I'm so pleased you're part of what we're doing here, as well as all the drivers part of Domino's TYJ Racing, but you have definitely impressed tonight, and I tell you what, you might not have got the win tonight, Donald, but you have made your mark for all these other drivers to realize they're going to have to reckon, and they're going to have to go through Donald Stewart the next race, because you're going to be a big threat going forward.
Well, I appreciate that, Robert, and I do appreciate the opportunity to come over here to Domino's TYJ Racing and race with these fellas, because they're really good racers, high caliber, and that's what I've been looking for. And I'd like to throw a little plug out to John Hendrick for painting my my car tonight, in honor of my dad. And he was a Boston Red Sox fan, and this is the baseball season, so I figured I'd throw that on the car there for him.
Yes, sir. We mentioned you and your car quite a few times. Wasn't sure if that was your father, your son, but we definitely are in memory of him, and we appreciate you being there. We appreciate you being part of the league, and good luck, Donald. We'll definitely talk to you soon.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Gabe, I'm going to let you interview our official third-place finisher, Gio Bramante.
All right, I'm down here on pit road with the driver of the 89, Giovanni Bramante. I made it all night without mispronouncing it, and I wait till the end to do it. Gio, congratulations on the top three. You had the win about 200 feet from the finish line, but you still come over with the top three.
Gio, you got a copy.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I had to go to the bathroom.
No problem.
All right, Gio, I'll ask it again. Make sure you're listening this time. You had to win about 200 feet from the finish line, but you end up coming home in third. It's still a good night. You worked your way from 27th starting position, now up to third. So, I mean, it had to be a great night.
Yeah, it was definitely a really great night. Just want to thank David for helping me through, just keeping me calm and getting me through the pack 2 times. I spun out 2 times in the beginning of the race and got back. But just really good race. We raced hard the whole time. Crazy finish.
Now, I'm not completely sure, but I think you were involved in the closest finish in Domino's history. I mean, less than a tenth between the top 3. That has to be a record, Robert. You want to confirm that?
That is the second closest. I do believe a week ago in the Truck Series we had an even closer finish. It was a .003, I believe, but we'll call it the closest finish because both of those are so close.
Within a tenth, it had to be.
Yeah, okay. Well, those 3, yes, sir. The three, yes, sir. Absolutely.
Well, Gio, you get it done in that third spot. You got anybody you want to thank really quick before we let you go?
Just want to thank David, my whole team, James, for helping me. My real life crew chief and Toyota, and all those people.
All right, Gio. Well,
I got
the third spot. Oh, sorry, Robert.
Yes, sir. I got a couple quick questions for you, Gio. We know you race cars in real life. Tell us exactly what car you do race. How much pain you're in from your thumb. I understand you broke it last weekend. Give us a little update on when your next race is going to be, what kind of car you race currently in the real world, and how that thumb's doing.
I currently race a Pro Late model for David Gillen Racing. I got held up in a pretty big wreck and broke my thumb, but it's doing great now. My next race will be in Montgomery, Alabama.
And is that next weekend or a couple weekends?
2 weeks.
Excellent. Well, I'll tell you what, congratulations, Gio. We were happy you're part of the series, and I tell you what, you're just knocking on the door, and I do believe you're going to have multiple wins in Domino's TYJ Racing. Thanks again, Gio.
You're welcome.
All right, Robert. Well, since the order's kind of screwed up, I believe you're going to catch up with the winner, Will Davis.
Yes, sir, Will Davis. I'm down here in Victory Circle with all the champagne flowing. We had to have the admins and the officials go over that replay of the finish, but the finish does stand. You win the race here starting in 6th position. William, you drove a great race, great strategy, great driving those last few laps. Tell us how you got it done.
I'm still trying to think about the last few laps. It was pretty crazy. I debated on taking tires or not. I felt like I was in a bad situation when that last caution came out, whether I should take 4 tires or no tires or what. I don't know. I just felt like track position was important, but also those tires wore out so fast. So I just decided to go with 2 and just try my luck, hope there was no caution. Gio gave it a hell of a run. That was the funnest racing I've ever been a part of.
I tell you what, I'm happy you said that, and that was a great show. I tell you what, if people are not watching Domino's TYJ Racing, listening to Gabriel Wood in the booth, watching the camera angles that Michael D'Amico puts on with All Pro Broadcasting, they are definitely missing it, not to mention the fact we give away free pizzas. But I tell you what, on top of all that, just the racing is so good. I know this car was really tough to drive tonight. Give us a little background on this car with the small spoiler, how hard it was to control it when it broke loose, and did you ever get any kind of warning before it would break loose, or would it just be one lap you're okay, the next lap it breaks loose?
Yeah, it kind of came out of nowhere after about 15 laps or so. It just kind of hit you almost in the middle of the corner. It would just kind of break away, and you hope for the best. Earlier I got in a little bit of trouble myself. Luckily I didn't hit anybody. But the biggest thing was just trying to keep it and save your tires. Not try to enter the corner so hard, and just trying to save your tires because you knew eventually it was going to be a longer run, and you wanted to stay out of trouble, obviously.
Well, I tell you what, congratulations on that win. I do want to ask you who you would like to thank for this win, and what this means for you in the rest of your 2017 season.
Yeah, obviously this is huge. Now, obviously, so I'm in the chase, so that was a big deal. I've been kind of having some bad luck this year. I'm going to give a shout out to my sponsors, Just Casual Productions and Owens Well Service, and my teammates, Gary Sexton, Tim Cox, and Shane Parrish that just came on board today. They were great all this week. We worked together. Seems like every day texting back and forth, just helping each other out with these setups and how to enter the corners, and just chit-chatting on how to get these things right and be the fastest. So definitely thanks to them. They had a tough night tonight, but they're hell of a drivers, and I'm sure they'll be fine.
Yes, sir. Some of them had some really bad luck tonight, as well as did a lot of drivers. I think iRacing kind of threw us a curveball, like I said, with the spoiler, this new setup. But drivers have to learn. And I want to just ask you one last question. I know a lot of your teammates spent a lot of time practicing. Were you able to get a lot of laps in practicing, and could you attribute that to one reason you were able to run up front in the end, be able to control your car with older tires during the race, and also come away with a win?
Yeah, I practiced the session earlier this week when it was daytime practice. I think that actually helped me a little bit. The track was a little bit more slick, so I kind of get a good feel for it on the slick track. So obviously when the night came, it was a little bit easier. But we definitely all came together this week, all four of us, and just helped each other out with the steering ratios and whatnot, and definitely paid off tonight.
Yes, sir. Well, I tell you what, you're definitely representing Cross Continent Racing. Cross Continent, a group of very clean competitive racers from all across the continent. They're from Colorado Springs, Colorado, which is Gary Sexton. Charlotte, is that where you're from, Will?
I'm from Augusta.
You're from Augusta? Who's from Charlotte?
It's Tim B. Cox from Charlotte.
Yes, sir. And I think...
Let me just chime in here. Woo, win for Georgia.
Win for Georgia. And Shane Parrish is from Texas with the Surf Pro car. You guys put it together at the Cross Continent Racing 250. Congratulations. Your team sponsored the race. One of you guys made it in Victory Circle. And yes, we do have a winner of the free pizza, Erica Thomas from Denver, Colorado. I don't know if she knows Gary Sexton from Colorado Springs or not. But anyway, she picked you to win the race. Lucky for us, you'll be getting that large 3-topping pizza. Congratulations, Will. You go celebrate with your team. And thank you so much. We'll talk to you real soon.
Well, dude, thank y'all for putting on a good show.
Yes, sir. I tell you what, Gabe, this race had everything in it anybody could want to watch. If you're a racing fan, what are your takeaway from this race?
Oh my God, that was a great race. I was genuinely excited whenever they came across the line, for the white flag, and they were all running single file. But I knew Will, had the tires to do it. I knew it was going to be a side-by-side finish, but I didn't know we were going to be, sliding through the grass. The guy who cut the infield won the race.
Yeah, he wasn't planning that. I'm sure Will Davis was just trying to get a good run, and Gio was trying to protect his position like he'd done 2 laps previous. And I tell you what, the sportsmanship of these guys.
Yes. I was down there in the interview room waiting on everything, and they were just sitting there laughing and talking about what happened.
Yeah, I tell you what, there's some guys that are pretty upset about what happened in this race as far as cautions and contact that was made earlier, and I completely understand that. But as far as these guys at the end of this race, I tell you what, those two who finished first and third, and again, great for the 78 of Donald Stewart to finish second. to have that kind of a camaraderie and an optimism in what happened and what went down in those interviews, I tell you what, that just shows the caliber of drivers we have here. And we are so thankful and blessed not only to have you, Gabe, in the booth, but also to have All Pro Broadcasting with camera angles. I tell you what, this has been Robert McFarland, Gabriel Wood, Michael D'Amico. Fans, you definitely want to tune in for our next race, which will be this Sunday night. We're having our Domino's TYJ Racing Renegade Dirt Series opener, April 30th at 8:50 p.m. Eastern. You can find it on All Pro Broadcasting. It's going to be a show like you have never seen on dirt. Fans, we look forward to seeing you then. Everybody have a good weekend. We'll talk to you soon.